Welcome everybody to Console Gaming League's Dead by Daylight License to Kill tournament. Tonight, all of our competitors are going to be competing a max of 16 teams on either PlayStation, PC, and Xbox, playing with only licensed characters. And if you're curious as to exactly what those licensed characters include, each of these teams are only going to be able to play the following. Survivor side, you will only be able to see Steve, Nancy, Quentin, Tap, Cheryl, Ash, Bill, Lori, Jill, and Leon, including some of their different skins such as the Legacy skins, as well as Killers, the Nightmare, the Pig, Husbando the Executioner, the Demogorgon, the Shape, Ghostface, Nemesis, and the Cannibal. Any of these teams will be able to use any of these characters and only any of these characters. And if you're unfamiliar with the rules, I'm joined here by my partner in crime, Ray, to give you the lowdown on the rules exactly.
Hey guys, this should be a great tournament today. Some of the rules include, obviously, as Saki just went over, you can only use the licensed survivors and licensed killers that she listed off, as well as when you're playing those characters, every player must use a licensed survivor perk on their survivor, as well as a licensed killer perk on their killer. And if they don't do that, they lose points. So should be interesting to see what kind of builds we see today because of that.
Yep. And we're going to go ahead and switch it over to us and welcome again, everybody. This is going to be an exciting tournament, right? Because we usually see some of these licensed killers more towards the side when we usually see these Dead by Daylight tournaments. Probably one of the most notable licensed killer as far as on the competitive scene goes is the Nightmare. We see him plenty of times. He's been buffed pretty well to actually be competitively viable, but we don't really see Michael. We don't really see all of the other killers, right? In addition to that, most of the time the survivors are actually just for cosmetic reasons. But here we get to actually see all of them in their full spotlight. I'm really excited. What about you, Ray?
Yeah, I'm very excited, especially with the new addition of Nemesis into the mix here. So it should be really exciting to see all the killers we play. And especially with Freddy too. I mean, he's not as powerful he used to be ever since he got the nerf. I mean, he's still good, but we might not see an overwhelming amount of teams only running Freddy. And from what I've been seeing, Nemesis is quite strong too, so we might see a lot of him today.
Nemesis is actually really interesting, one of the newest and latest killers with the Resident Evil chapter. Shoutouts to the DBD team for bringing such an iconic series to the game. With Nemesis, he introduced not only a interesting infection gameplay, he also introduced the zombies. So survivors are going to be surviving not only against his tentacles that can infect you, but they'll also be surviving against the zombies themselves. And of course, I'm hugely excited to see if we can get any of the licensed maps as well, whether it be, the preschool, whether it be the famous Shape map, right? Like Haddonfield. So there's quite a bit of variety within this licensed killer tournament. In addition to that, Dead by Daylight, very well known to be the literal Hall of Fame of horror. They mentioned it in their anniversary stream. So this is a perfect way to honor that said legacy by focusing on all of this content that, again, many horror games would love to have. So there you go.
Indeed, indeed. I'm very excited to see, because like you said, there's only a few select killers that can be played. So, I feel like even in our last tournament, we saw a lot of demo. So maybe we see a lot of demo today. It's just exciting to see the new faces that you wouldn't normally see in a normal competitive tournament.
100%. And one of the things that I like, as we were mentioning before, right, is that these competitive tournaments, we usually tend to see, obviously, like Nurse and Spirit and the Oni as well. We've seen, in fact, many times where these very same killers, take priority when it comes down to that competitive focus. And then you see these licensed killers, and it's going to be interesting to see how each of these teams actually utilize that competitive atmosphere, actually put the powers that make these killers be, right, into that competitive level. Again, we've only seen really Nightmare, and I think probably I would want to say maybe closest Leatherface, the cannibal, right? There's so many other skills that these characters use, and again, as we mentioned, Nemesis is a big potential too, as far as how his power works. But before we keep on going, and while we wait for these lobbies, let's go ahead and let you guys know who are the first teams in tonight's bracket. And let's see. So the first team that is up on stream is going to be Vama versus Hex Tunneling. You'll love to see it.
Yes, and I've casted a few of these tournaments, and Vama has quite a good killer. He's very flexible in the amount of and the different kinds of killers he played. He was actually the first person in the tournament to play Hillbilly back when we were doing the weekly tournaments. So he's got a very wide range in the killers he can play. So it'll be very interesting to see him today.
100%. And like with the cannibal, he actually recently, and I say recently as far as like a couple of chapters back, he got reworked in a way, right? Where his chainsaw is now more of a rechargeable, where he actually has a certain amount of chainsaw swings that he can do before he has to recharge them. So it's going to be interesting to see that new meta happening right now, in particular with this tournament in of itself. And we've been speaking so much about killers, right? Let's talk a little bit about the survivor perks, right? So for those of you who don't know, some of the licensed perks that we tend to see often in regular gameplay is Borrowed Time, is Decisive Strike, Second Wind. There's been others recently, the new one from the Resident Evil chapter where it's Blast Mine and Flashbang. So what do you think could be one of the expected builds that we're going to be seeing here tonight?
I mean, definitely we're gonna see someone who's running like a borrowed time decisive kind of build. And if I'm the survivors for for totem finding, I mean, you have two good ones. I mean, one that stands out is the new one, Counterforce.
Yes.
So that's a very good totem finding perk that you can run. So I expect to see maybe one person on every team running that or Detective's Hunch, one of the two. But I think Counterforce is probably the better choice.
Not only that, Small Game recently just received an update too, right? And then like maybe I say 2 chapters ago as well, where instead of it being focused so much on the killer's utilities, they're actually focused more on how many totems are there left on the map, and more focused on the totems themselves. So one of the things that I've been noticing in a couple of streamer builds is using, especially for the Rift challenges, the small game with the Counterforce, and it works out really well. In addition to having that like faster pace to take out a totem. Now I know with killer perks we don't really see too much of a huge totem build, because most of these perks for these killers are really focused on their, I want to say, power more likely than anything. But I agree with you. I do see a lot of Borrowed Time going to still be sort of like that meta. And with Borrowed Time already being kind of like the set in stone for a lot of these teams competitively, that's something that we're going to probably see more. We're also probably going to see the Decisive Strike, even with the nerf that it received and the rework that it received. It is still a pretty good perk. There is one in particular that I'm really excited for, which is the Nancy. Nancy perks usually tend to work out really well if you're sort of building a locker type perk, where you kind of build up, not only going against totems, right, but you're also healing and all of that. So it's gonna be interesting to see, and I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, if you look at the killers too, I feel like, in general for survivor builds, it's kind of easier to work in a licensed perk if you're a survivor, because obviously the really good ones are there, borrowed time, decisive, stuff like that. And I understand if you're looking at the killers, barbecue and chili, that's very enticing because that's a perk for the cannibal. But from watching these tournaments, I don't see barbecue and chili run that often. So it'll be interesting to see. So, I mean, some of the perks I expect to see, if from the license perks, you might see save the best for last. I see that perk run all the time on the Nemesis with his punches, so
Absolutely.
that might be a good one you see. And then even the Nemesis perk, Lethal Pursuer, where you can see everyone for like the first 7 seconds at the beginning of the match. It's such a good perk. It wouldn't surprise me if we see that a lot today on the killers.
For sure. Speaking of going into those perks, let's go ahead and switch over to the live game screen. We're going to go into our first match against Bama versus Hex Tunneling. And also, happy 5th anniversary to Dead by Daylight. 5 years in a row, this game has been alive and thriving. And like we mentioned before, this is sincerely one of the largest Hall of Fame of horror icons. And again, we're going to go see it here. So let's get it. We are going ahead. Our backstage producers and mods are double checking that all of these perks are following the rules and guidelines. Once again, everyone, if you are competing, please be sure to review all of the rules before you get into your match. Make sure those TOs have a better time today than any of the other tournaments. Let them have a good time today and enjoy all of these matches, right?
For sure. And let's see. That's a Freddy. We got a nightmare going on here.
Yes, I'm sure these survivors are already noting that they are falling asleep. One of the biggest things, we do have a survivor right now on the look. It does appear that Ruin might be also playing on the field as well, as that gen did spark up just a bit.
He's gonna just miss the hit there. That was very unfortunate, but that was very well done there by the Nancy.
Once again, going back on another survivor. It looks like it's going to be a Leon. We also see that there is some corrupt intervention happening. One gen already done for the survivor side.
Indeed. I mean, with Freddy, as long as you can control a 3-gen, especially if you're running perks like, obviously we saw Ruin, but he can also be running Pop. Very good hit there onto the detective right there, Detective Tap. So there's a down there for him already.
Agreed, yeah. So that was actually really a good attempt for the Lori there. Definitely trying to body block that hit, but unfortunately with the with the window vault, Detective Tap is going to go down here. What a crazy thing to see a character from the Saw franchise talk to Laurie Strode from the Halloween franchise while being carried by Freddy from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Talk about like just craziness right now.
This tournament's already looking to be awesome so far. It's very cool to see all these different characters and killers interacting together.
Yep, and then we're gonna go ahead and set up a snare trap right there for Freddy. As a reminder, certain killers do have availability and access to the green add-ons. And Freddy is one of them. Oh, goes into the locker. Okay, I guess we're just gonna like avoid the whole locker and just grab. I understand.
In general, she's just trying to waste as much time as possible while they go get the unhook on Detective Tap and heal him up.
Absolutely. This is also sort of a bit of a trade, right? We have, of course, Freddy, who's already hooked 2 people in trade of 1 gen. And with that Ruin happening right now, he's actually doing pretty well in just going for the actual Leon right now. Gonna get the hit.
And if you guys don't know about Freddy, he has one of the longest lunges in this game when he charges up his attack. So he can really clear some distance when it comes to hitting survivors. And see, right there, gets the hit. He doesn't even get to the paladin time because his lunge is so big on Freddy.
All right, so we do want to let everyone know, as we are seeing this match, that Vama needed to run 1 perk of a license, and by so far right now, what we're looking for into this stream, we've only seen 3 of those perks, which has been Corrupt, Ruin, and 1 more as well. It looks like it seems to be Pop, but he hasn't been able to actually hit a gen because Ruin's still active. We'll get the judge on that one after this match, but so far so good. As you can see, going for the Detective Tap once again. Gonna try to go for the hook.
Indeed, he's gonna get Detective Tap for the 2nd time, so this will be his 2nd hook.
Yes.
But overall, so far, this Freddy's doing a pretty good job. He's got a lot of pressure. I mean, if you're hex tunneling at this point, you really got to find that Ruin. It's putting in so much work right now.
Absolutely. It's actually preventing them from doing any gens. Between the pressure of the hooking and the unsaving and spending the time to actually heal, we're seeing what killers like to call this hook pressure, right? There's absolutely no chance for them to have time to actually run on some gens right now. with so much time being spent. On top of the fact that they're also all falling asleep. So there's a lot of negative statuses that are going against them if they're not placing more dedication and probably even sacrificing some more time for those competitors to be on the hook. This is why we see that 4 gen still up. But we're gonna be going ahead and chasing the Leon right now. He is injured.
And they finally do get both the unhooks onto the detective tap and the Nancy that were on Jen's, and he gets the snare onto Leon and he goes down. Very nicely done and well played there by the Nightmare.
Very well done, yes. And that snare trap, again, gonna slow Leon down right here. Gonna go and it looks like another snare trap was also triggered, so that already is gonna lead to the next competitor and actually to the gen that they're trying to find. It looks like there are 2 survivors here. He's gonna go ahead and let, I believe, the Lori run away. So we're gonna go back on Detective Tap, who is still injured, and 1 hit away.
Nice snare. Very well done with that snare there. He knew the Detective Tap was trying to play the pallet there, and he doubled back around but put a snare in the way. When he doubled back around, that was very nicely done there, and that should be a death for the Detective Tap.
Absolutely, down in the basements, but again, we do want to remind everyone as more or less what's happening here in regards to points, because Vama did not put a licensed perk, which is part of the rule set. It is going to be having them start off with -4 points. So they started off negative in this match, hence why with that hook on Detective Tap and a couple of other hooks have brought them back to 4 and making them even again. So if you do not want this to happen, everyone, please understand that you must have a licensed perk on your survivor team or on your killer team. Every survivor must have at least one licensed perk. Every killer must at least have 1 licensed perk. So just as a reminder.
No, he does not.
Yeah, those vaults are very tricky, and again, another thing that DBD is actually trying to figure out. Going to go for the teleport on the gen and going to go after the Lori right now.
There's no pallet there. It's already been thrown, and she goes down.
Yep, and with that, the Nightmare going to pick up Lori and put her on hook. I believe she is on 2nd hook right now. The other survivors have all, I think, been hooked once, except for maybe the Nancy. So this is actually putting quite a bit of a tight space right now for the surviving team right now, which is Hex Tunneling.
The Nancy has been hooked once. I can confirm that. I remember her getting hooked. So he's getting a lot of pressure right now. But, I mean, imagine if he was actually running a licensed perk. That'd be an extra 4 points. He'd be killing it right now.
Yeah, and Leon's gonna go down here. I believe this is his final hook, if I'm not mistaken, unless they... Let's see. Yep, that is his final hook, and there goes another gen has popped, but that's gonna lead to the Lori, who was just recently unhooked. And this goes to Chase. Can she make it to the pole vault? And nope, the lunge is gonna take priority. And here we go. Nightmare.
The lunge is just too much with Freddy. And he's going to go for the slug. He doesn't want the chance of a hatch escape here. Very smartly played by him.
Yes. Also, too, with a map like this, as you can't really bring offerings, you can't determine where the hatch is going to spawn. So better to just seal the deal, make sure everybody stays dead, and make sure...
We're unbreakable.
Oh, there it goes! Now, this could be tricky, because if both of these characters... or both of these survivors have Unbreakable, that means that this could be a back and forth, and Vama has to commit to one of them and take the risk in finding the hatch.
So you have to keep in mind that only 2 people, you can only run the same perk on 2 different people, so only 2 out of these 4 players had Unbreakable. We saw that. So even if, because you already got the Unbreakable out of the Lori here, so if you can just down her, even if the Nancy has Unbreakable and she gets up, I mean, you can still just slug the Lori because she can't use Unbreakable again and go back for the Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
So he is in a good spot here. He just needs to find Lori.
Alrighty, and it looks like it's just a matter of trying to find said Lori right now. It does seem that the Nancy may not have it, as the amount of time trying to find Lori, Unbreakable could have happened. But there it is, the chase begins, and there is the pallet. Oh,
The
and
lunge is too great.
too good to be true. And with that, he is actually going to be picking up the Nancy first.
It was actually very
Also-
smart here because she could have been holding onto Unbreakable this whole time and waiting for you to hook the Lori so she can get herself up and go for the hatch. So it's smarter to just get the Nancy out of the way because you know Lori doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah. And here we go. Gonna set up just some dream snares, you know, to get those extra points, even though they don't really matter as this isn't an event, the actual in-game event. But with that, Bama's gonna be taking it with all 4 survivors, sacrificed to the entity at 12 points. 12 to 6 right now.
Very, very well done. I mean, that's a perfect game by the killer outside the 4 points he lost for not running a licensed perk. So very impressive there by the Vomba killer.
Very, very impressive. You know, this is where as Dead by Daylight comes into terms of competitiveness, right? With these set of rules, it can get kind of a little dicey where if you've lost points, it's gonna hurt you, right? Because now Hex Tunneling's gonna go in and they have 6 points, whereas in a usual situation, Bama would have already been a pretty bit of a deficit ahead, right? And now Hex Tunneling is only half that way. So trying to kill, if they follow the rules accordingly, right? Trying to play as the killer in the situation can favor them, as they will only need to be able to do the same thing, just get the hooks and make sure that the sacrifices are in full force. So it's a little bit of a back and forth that can happen here. And again, just proof and testament that you gotta follow the rules, Muse.
Indeed. I mean, to see that in the very first game already, I mean, it's pretty shocking already to see someone not following the rules. But, you know, he still has himself a pretty good lead. I mean, as long as the killer on the side of Hex Tunneling puts in the same work he did, they'll win. But, I mean, we know how this game goes. A strongly coordinated Swift will generally do better than a killer. So we'll have to see how good Vama survivors are.
Absolutely. And I mean, as far as the survivors, what we definitely saw when it came down to how Bama played the Nightmare, we saw a very good amount of hook pressure, and you know the trades between Hook and Gens worked out so well, right? Because we saw that those gens were not getting finished as fast as they could have, between not being able to catch the ruin and not also being able to commit to said gens while the hooks happened. Detective Tap also going down so early in the game definitely hurt them. So there's a lot of commitment that you kind of have to do, especially against the Nightmare. And in addition to that, we also saw the lunges. That was also crazy too.
Yeah, like I was saying during the gameplay, Freddy's got like I think it's like the second longest lunge in the game. I think Michael has the longest, I think. But it's just insane. Like there were so many times where I thought maybe he was going to be able to throw that pallet, but nope, was just at the end of the range and gets hit.
Yeah. Also, too, something that Dead by Daylight has also already addressed, right, is the fact that when they transition to dedicated servers, the pults, the window vaults, and the actual pallets have always been an issue as far as if that hit can go through, right? Because of course, at the time when Dead by Daylight first started, it was a connection based on the killer and not so much based on dedicated servers. So when they transition to the dedicated servers, those lunges sometimes go through the pallets despite getting stunned and despite even trying to grab a survivor off of a gen. So it is still a little bit of a work in progress where that interaction is going to be probably favorable more for the killer when it comes to a pallet and more for a survivor when it comes to a gen. So with that lunge range in mind, you end up having, you know, the situations that we saw here where they were getting caught and they just couldn't make it over that pallet or over that vault in time compared to Freddy's.
Yeah, indeed. Like if you would have compared, like specifically the lunge that he got on Leon when I thought he was going to throw that pallet in time, if that would have been anyone other than him or Michael, like if that was like the Hag, for example, I know she's not in this tournament, but she would not have hit that. Her lunge isn't long enough to get that. So that's just the power of how Freddy is with those lunges right now.
Absolutely. And another thing too that we saw is most of these we saw like the unbreakable play, and it wasn't a bad play, right? Because again, if you are in a situation like how we saw the Lori and we saw the Nancy, Unbreakable could have helped the Lori, but Vama did the right choice in actually keeping the slug and doing, as you mentioned, take down the Nancy just in case, because Lori's not going to come back up because of the Unbreakable perk happening again. So let's just go ahead, put Nancy on the hook, and then you already know where Lori is. Let me go back and just hook Lori. And that's actually a really good decision making when it comes to these tournaments, because you don't want to risk hatch. You don't want to risk having to find hatch, and then once you find hatch, you end up with a 50-50 as to whether that survivor is going to go to a door or not. So
Indeed, that was very well played by the Nightmare in Endgame there. You just want to secure your kills. I mean, as soon as he got the Lori down, went after the Nancy. Lori had Unbreakable, didn't matter, got the Nancy down, went for the Lori. Even if Nancy had it, he could have just slugged again. That was very high tier gameplay there by Vama.
Yeah, 100%. It sucks, again, that those -4 points definitely could have helped out quite a bit for them as far as going through the survivor side. Now, I know you mentioned though that you've commentated and you've casted some of their gameplay. What can you tell me a little bit and tell the audience at home more or less how their survivor side works?
If I remember correctly, their killer was like the star of their team. Not that their survivors are bad, but like just because how flexible their killer was at many different killers. So like back when we were doing the weekly tournaments, different killers are banned every week. So it was really nice to have him because it really didn't matter with him each week because he played so many different killers. But their survivors are good. I mean, they tend to go deep into the tournaments. I mean, they won one of the qualifying tournaments and made the final tournament. So they're a very strong team. Um, but yeah, just their killer stands out over their survivors. Not that the survivors are bad, but they are good enough to win a tournament. So we should be in for a good match here.
For sure. I'm really excited. Usually when you have like a really good killer on your team, their minds are also like working as well as like knowing what survivors do, right? Because that's one of the things that make a great killer, right? Is the fact that you have an incredible game sense, not only as sort of the hunter, but also as the prey, because you know what exactly a survivor is going to probably try to do if they're going to try to loop a certain loop rotation, if they're going to try to go for a pallet, if they're going to try to go for a 360. So there's quite a bit of a lot of thinking and a lot of understanding of both roles. So I'm sure these Vama survivors have had that practice, which again, practice doesn't hurt. Definitely going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, a lot of, Dead by Daylight with these chases, it's a lot of just mind games. Like, there were a lot of times with the detective tap, he had a perfect double L wall set up with 2 windows, and he just wasn't playing it right. Like, Freddy was just able to get him way too fast, and normally a double L wall setup is something, it's like a survivor's dream. Like, oh, I can run a killer around this for a very long time because I have 2 windows to work with, and sometimes there's a pallet over there too, so.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, definitely want to see how Hex's killer works against these survivors. We are waiting for them to ready up, so hopefully we can get that going. Again, everybody who's competing, be sure to again review all of the rules that are happening and also be ready for your matches. In case you are not aware, we do want to let the next team know that after this match, it's going to be Eternity versus Resurrected. So definitely be sure to keep an eye out with your mods, your TOs. Definitely keep an eye out on stream. Definitely give a follow to Console Gaming League as well as Kunoichi. They're an amazing group of people creating amazing events, just like the one you're seeing right now. And definitely giving a lot of opportunities that a lot of people can benefit from. So be sure to check them out. And also, shout out to our amazing producer and mods, Orchid, Autumn, and Candy. Y'all are amazing.
They keep this tournament running very well, and we do like to shout them out and appreciate their hard work.
So we're just gonna go ahead and wait here and see what happens.
Indeed. I mean, so how are you enjoying this anniversary event so far?
Oh, I'm enjoying it. I would like to have my crown on my Leon and Jill, but we're not going to talk about that.
It's funny. I main 4 survivors. I main Bill, can't get a crown. I main Jill, can't get a crown. I main Leon, can't get a crown. So the only one I need a crown on is Felix.
With that being said, we're going to go ahead and transition over to our player scene. Hopefully they have some crowns. They're probably not. This is licensed survivors only, so we don't get to see their crowns.
Definitely not. And I mean, if I'm being honest, I mean, this is all fun and it's a tournament and all that, but I mean, there is money on the line at the end of the day, and it is a lot easier to see survivors with that crown on, so I doubt people would be wearing the crown anyway.
Absolutely. And it looks like we're going to see some prestiges on this team right now. We got a Cheryl. Shout outs to my girl Cheryl. Hold up. I have an emote just for this, by the way. Please play this character at some point for me. Please. This is a commentator request. Please. Like, play this character. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, Silent Hill is actually one of my favorite expansions in this game, believe it or not. Silent Hill. And I want to say Resident Evil as well, but more for Survivor side, for sure.
Indeed. I mean, I've been really enjoying this event, especially with the cakes. Hey, all you greedy killers out there, stop putting some killer puddings on, man. Put some cakes on. Like, don't be greedy. But I'm trying to prestige all, because I just got Leon and Jill, obviously, with the event, and then I hadn't really touched Felix because I was trying to get Bill all the perks in the game because I just finished making all the perks teachable. So I got Bill all the perks, and now I'm like trying to work on in this event, trying to get Jill, Leon, and Felix all the way to Prestige 3 and all the perks on them. And I thought, initially, since I thought the event was ending on the 15th, that I'd only be able to get them Prestige 3. But the 22nd, I think I might be able to get all the perks on everyone.
Nice. That's the cool thing about this event, right? Is all of the blood points and the iridescent shards. I was actually just recently able to, after like 5 years of playing this game, right? Where I was able to actually purchase a character using my shards, and I'm like, yes, perfect. That's awesome, amazing. So definitely, this event helps a lot of players who are just recently trying to like get their prestiges up, get all of their characters up to date. It does look like we are waiting right now for these players to ready up. One more check mark, hopefully. Come on, Nancy, you got this. Check mark, check mark.
But yeah, overall in this event, guys, if you guys haven't been playing, if everyone's got a cake on there and you do well enough, you could be easily earning 150,000 blood points a game. It's insane. So like, this is your chance to, level up that character you always want to be leveling up, or, finally get all the perks on your main survivor, or prestige your main survivor all the way. So like, get in the game and get in there.
Absolutely. Fun fact, these dev creator quotes, right? I know and have spoken to so many of them that it's really cool to see them in like their game. I don't know, it's just one of those things where you're like, wow, you created the very same thing that I love. Thank you so much. Oh, please do all of your puns.
I do like a lot of these comments they put in there. Like, I was even talking to some friends the other day, and we wish they would keep this backsplash, like the load. Like, we just love this loading screen they have during the anniversary events. The other one's just kind of plain. Yeah. So we wish they would keep this all year round, but it's a special occasion. We understand.
Absolutely. And also too, it's great to see some of the like artwork that, has evolved over the past 5 years of Dead by Daylight, right? Like you compare the Trickster to like the Trickster artwork to, the nurse's artwork, and it's crazy how much Dead by Daylight has evolved again to even become an esports type game like you see here tonight. So our producers right now going to go ahead and verify that all of these survivors have their license perk, as well as that they are not repeating set perks. It looks like so far Bama is doing pretty good with that. 1 perk, indeed.
Learn their lesson from their killer, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And let's see who's going to be the killer right now as we go ahead and log in. It looks like Corrupt Intervention's already going to be on the field.
They're gonna just try and hide and wait out. There's many different strategies. Oh, it's another nightmare.
There it is.
All right. Yeah, so there's generally a couple ideas you can do with Corrupt. I mean, initially, most coordinated teams are just going to want to hide and just wait it out if they can. But, like, the moment this person starts getting into chase, everyone else needs to go start working on gens, and hopefully the other person can just run them for as long as possible.
100%. That's the cool thing about Corrupt is, again, like you mentioned, it's sort of like you can either hide or you can try to go for that next gen, but guess what? That killer knows you're trying to find the next gen, right? Looks like we're gonna go after the Cheryl right now. Gonna get the hit off inside the storehouse.
He's going to continue to go after the Cheryl. He's almost in lunge range already. Pallet there is going to be used. Very well done. Gets the stun. And he's not going to break it, so, I mean, she can just keep playing this loop here as long as he doesn't break it, and he breaks it there.
Yeah, that's a good risk sometimes. You do have to take the opportunity to close off the loops as fast as possible. It looks like they're going to get stunned again, though, with the Quentin now in chase. I'm so happy they updated his motto, by the way. I'm so happy.
Yes, he finally doesn't look weird.
Doesn't look like the goblin next door.
Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna set up some dream snares around the killer shack. Not a bad choice. Again, that's where probably the strongest loops are going to be played at. That's what you want to do with the nightmare, is as soon as they're in the dream state, take away the potential and slow down those survivors during those loops. It looks like we might be sensing someone that is around here. If not, it looks like they're going to try to teleport. Nope, no teleports.
He's gonna fake their teleport. I mean, sometimes that can be good to like force a survivor off a gen for a couple seconds, but like once you realize it's a fake, then just hop back right on.
Yeah, and also too, if you are too far, you're forcing the generators, the survivors technically off of the generators. So definitely something. Okay, goes ahead and takes the hit. Not sure if the crouch was on purpose or to just stop the bloodlust from happening.
True. I mean, my guess is he knew he was going to get hit there anyway, so... yeah, probably stop the bloodlust, as you were saying. Tinkerer just got proc there, so we obviously can see Tinkerer is in play there.
I'm a little bit curious about this Tinkerer, actually. I'm a little bit curious why a lot of killers are trying to run that, so...
The Tinkerer, you said? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I'm curious why Tinkerer is becoming more competitive, actually.
It depends on the killer. You need to have a killer who has high mobility. So, like, Freddy can teleport to the gens. So, Tinkerer's very strong on him. If you have, like, a hillbilly, for example, he can use his chainsaw and go across the map to whatever gen goes off. So, it's very, very good on killers who have really good mobility. Oh, and he gets stuck on the wall there, but there's a pallet there. He got the hit on Detective Tap, but he's getting hits on survivors, but no downs. They just keep going away.
Alrighty, and we do want to confirm for the audience that Hexenly does have their license perk. So at the moment, we have seen Tinker pop, we have seen Ruin pop, and we have seen Corrupt Intervention pop. And okay, we like to see this decisive. This is actually going to force, I believe it was Detective Tap, correct? He's going to go ahead and run away.
Wait, was that even decisive? Because he hasn't been hooked. Did someone throw a pallet on him?
I think it was a pallet, because that's where the nightmare was on. So it's actually a pallet save, one of the few things you get to see in Dead by Daylight. And that was a weird interaction there for the Quentin. Quentin's going to go ahead and run away now, though. Going to get hit.
There's the pallet here to play. I mean, you know, because with Freddy, there's two different things that you can be running. There's snares and there's pallets. Competitively, snares are better. So, I mean, you pretty much know in tournaments you're going to be running snares. But he can have dream pallets too. But I think at this point, you've had your teammates run into snares already, so you don't have to worry about dream pallets.
Absolutely. And that's going to be another hook, or the first hook for Detective Tap. That hit, of course, on sorry, not Detective Tap, Quentin. It's hard to see a little bit the icons. My apologies, everyone.
Oh, here we go. Looks like they're down to 1 gen now, and they already have Tinkerer proc on that gen. They're in a really good spot here, Vama. Are they going to commit? Oh, they don't get it done. Damn.
And in addition to that, it does look like it got popped as well. So right now there's only four gens done, and Hexunlane has a lot of hooks to make up. It's almost a little bit of a repeat for Vama, at least when it comes to these trades. But this time as survivors, they're benefiting from the trade.
The good thing at this point is they got the unhooks, they're getting the heals, so like things are looking good for Vama. All they got to do is get one more gen. Oh, and there's a Tinker proc on another gen. So they've been even putting progress on another. This is not looking good for Hex Tunneling's Freddy here.
Nope, not at all. And with this time spent on chasing the Shero, that's also going to leave that gen to be done, where all gens have been completed right now. Tried to use the lunge on the window vault there on the Shero, but she was just enough away to not get hit by it. This is definitely not looking too well right now for Hex Tunneling.
Indeed. It was funny, I was actually thinking, because with Freddy, generally, like how Vama didn't run a licensed perk, he ran like the Sweaty Freddy build, which is Ruin, Tinkerer, Pop, and Ruin, Tinkerer, Pop, and then actually can't remember what the other one is off the top of my head, but you run 4 unlicensed perks essentially. And I was thinking what would be a good one to put on him, like that would be licensed, and we did have confirmation that it was Thrilling Tremors, and that would be the one I would think you would want to do as Freddy, so you know what gens are being worked on when you pick people up. Very nice body blocking here by Vama, but they're all going to get out here.
Yep, it does look like the Detective Tap is the only one still left in the game. I think he's going to go ahead and take the hatch, though. And with that being said, Vama is going to be moving on 30-7.
Indeed, that was very impressive by Vama. Their survivors, like, I knew they were good. Their killer just stands out, but that was very well done by those survivors.
Alrighty, and again, GG's to both teams, right? It's a tough situation, right? Vama did an excellent job that despite being -4 at the beginning of their killer match, they did such an amazing job to, you know, make it even as much as possible in their killer side, and their survivor side was so dominant that I think they only were able to have only one survivor get hooked. So Hex Tunneling had quite a bit of a catch up to do. In addition to that, you know, trying to fight against such a strong survivor team. There you have it. You know, I don't know if I agree with the Thrilling Tremors choice, to be honest with you, because while having notifications on what gens are being worked on, that's what your Tinkerer serves for, right? So maybe probably a progress one would have worked out better. Maybe something like Eruption from the Nemesis could have been something that could have probably helped out quite a bit. Maybe even Hysteria, maybe even something definitely, again, that could have just helped with that progress. So I definitely think that with the Thrilling Tremors, it probably hurt them more than actually helped them. But, you know, GG's all around. It happens.
No, indeed, I was even thinking, like, you're probably better off even just going with Lethal Pursuer at that point, just so you can start a chase immediately.
Yeah.
Especially if you're running Corrupt and Lethal Pursuer, especially in this tournament setting, can be really good, because Corrupt, they're going to see it,
yeah.
and they're going to want to hide. So, like, you're like, oh, no hiding here. I have Lethal Pursuer.
That actually, you know, considering that it's this is tournament and you had Corrupt for such a long period of time, that could have helped quite a bit in that beginning stages. So I definitely agree with you that despite that perk being really best at the beginning of the match, it could have helped quite a bit in starting off with that hook pressure. In addition to that, you also noticed that Vama was very smart with how they were getting their gens done. Very hard to actually not stay on a gen, or rather they were able to stay on a gen and still be able to loop as well, right? One of the other things too that we saw from Hex Tunneling is that when they actually were going after these survivors, they spent so much time on them, and you saw that they were very spread out with their gens. They didn't allow themselves to get 3 gens, not at all. It was very tough for Hextling to put any pressure, even on the chasing pressure.
Indeed, from what I saw from that match, like I even saw a point where Quentin for Vama went to the same double L wall that the Detective Tap had, and he played it much better, was giving no space for that Freddy to be able to even get close within lunge range. And another thing I noticed is even like, yes, they were spreading their gens out very well. They never got in a 3-gen, but even at the end, when Freddy could teleport between multiple gens, they got great pressure onto 2 separate gens. So like, there was nothing he could do at that point. Like, you can only teleport. Like, your teleport has a cooldown, so you can just continuously teleport back and forth.
Absolutely. Also, too, we didn't see too much of the teleporting happening with both teams too. So that's also something that can play into a factor as well. You mentioned before during the match that Freddy was going. Freddy has that ability to actually do the teleport to kind of like bait and switch, right? And there was an attempt, but it didn't work out too well. So of course, that it showed out in the end. But being that said, we're going to go ahead and go into our next match, or rather announce our next match while we wait for these players to get in. It's going to be Eternity versus Resurrection, and we're going to be heading over to Torment Creek.
Indeed, and if you I don't know if you watched the last tournament at all. I casted it. Eternity actually won the last tournament, so they're coming. Yeah, they did. They are coming back strong into this tournament and looking to continue their dominance in these Dead by Daylight tournaments.
Nice, very nice. That's the cool thing again about these tournaments is you definitely see quite a bit of competitive players come out. It's beyond their normal ranking system, right? Dead by Daylight's always been pretty well known that there's really only one mode to actually play. So, going down the whole ranking system, you have killers and survivors that have reached level 1, and they come out here for these tournaments to definitely get that sense of challenge and a test of their skill, so to say. So, with Eternity being that winner, and actually, already stating that they are the challengers and the champions, it's definitely going to be interesting to see if they can make it to the finals with this particular tournament.
Indeed, and I was actually looking at this chat and looking at the teams and remembering back to the last tournament. This is actually a rematch from the finals of the last tournament. Resurrected and Hateless were actually the final 2 teams in the last tournament.
Oh, interesting. That's going to be quite indeed a match indeed. So I'm excited. Out of curiosity, who do you think they're going to be picking as far as killer or survivors?
If I remember correct from the last tournament, Eternity, because in the last tournament there was no Blight, there was no Spirit, there was no Hagen, there was no Nurse. So I mean, it's similar to this, but obviously there's more restrictions. But Eternity ran a lot of Wraith and a lot of Deathslinger, but those 2 aren't available either. So it'll be very curious. I mean, we've seen 2 Nightmares so far, so we could see that. But I'm going to go with the oddball. I'm going to say someone plays Demo on this one. I want to see it.
Really? So we can definitely safely say for competitors out there, as commentators, we want to see the Demogorgon and we want to see Pyramid Head. Please give me my husbando. I demand husbando.
Yeah. That's funny. I'm hoping for some. I just want some variety. Like I don't want 2 Nightmares again. So I'm hoping for a demo, or maybe let's see. Let me look at the killers. Maybe a Nemesis. Nemesis might be an interesting one. I mean, he hasn't been out for that long, so I don't know if any killers are going to feel confident throwing him out there yet. But he could be very powerful if you play him well.
So the thing I like to think about when it comes to Nemesis is that when you're playing, it's sort of a little bit like Trickster in a sense, because with Trickster you have to throw the knives, and then once you get them into that injured state, that's when you can actually go ahead and use your bat to swing, right? With Nemesis, it works a little bit the same. Probably the best thing to do is make sure that you get your tentacle to the max level possible for that good range. and also to use it more for when they're trying to go for that vault or for that pallet, because you're almost guaranteed a hit depending on how good your aim is and whatnot. So and once you have that blue on them, focus more on just trying to down them than actually trying to infect them, because once they have that blue, it's going to take them quite a bit of time to actually find the vaccine, and actually apply the vaccine, where at that point you can always just circle back and actually hunt them down again with the tentacles. So there's quite a bit of ways to play the Nemesis that you can work around with. I definitely think he is an interesting character that has been added to the roster of the game. Some of these killers, they have a little bit more of a strategy to them, rather than just flat out using their power to get that hit or that knockdown situation. So
Yeah, exactly. Like I was saying earlier, from what I've been seeing online, is a lot of the times when I see Nemesis ran, it is infect everyone, get your tier 3 up so you can destroy walls and pallets very easily. And then it's all about, they always run save the best for last, because all you want at that point is to be doing punching, and you only use your power on your obsession. So you just get those stacks and you're able to just punch people much faster and just get them down and just put hook pressure.
yeah, absolutely. And we're just going to go ahead and be waiting for these next players that are going to be coming up. Again, if you are competing, be sure to keep an lookout on both your brackets, stream, and your discords. We don't want to be holding up these matches at all, because we're just as excited as you are to play them. We're excited to see them. So, but yeah, well, I'm curious, Ray. What has been your favorite expansion for Dead by Daylight?
Oh, it's definitely Resident Evil. I've played those games since I was a kid. And I still play them. I stream them on Twitch every now and then. But yeah, it's definitely Resident Evil.
Really? So I'm curious, when Resident Evil was first teased, who did you? Is it like as close to your expectation as you were gonna expect, or was there anything that differed from your expectation? What was like your thoughts about going into that chapter when it was first teased?
I did not at all expect Nemesis. Like I thought that was a really awesome surprise. I really thought they were gonna go with Mr. X or like Birkin or something, but like, because I thought Nemesis, because Nemesis is all about like sprinting, and I don't know. I just thought it'd be really interesting and complicated to actually make his kit work in Dead by Daylight. But they did a great job, and I'm very happy they actually went with Nemesis, because he's my favorite villain in the series.
Nice. So I remember when I first saw the teaser for Resident Evil, I definitely called out Leon, right? And only because I felt like the person that was hooked was Leon, right? And then I sort of figured it was either going to be Jill or Claire, and I was more leaning to Jill because everybody had mentioned that since it was the Resident Evil 25th anniversary, and the only two characters that have really fallen under that specific like actual anniversary has been Jill and Leon, because they've been able to actually get their games remastered, and they were included in their original within the 25 years. And then I did feel like they were going to do what they did with the Stranger Things chapter, which was release the two survivors, because there was no way they were going to be able to just release one and everybody was not going to be happy. And as far as the killer, I just knew that there was going to be zombies involved, because we already had an infection game plan or a gameplay thanks to the plague. But what makes Resident Evil isn't about the infection, it's about the zombies, right? So you had to include that to make it like legit Resident Evil. So when they added the zombies for Nemesis, I was like, I knew it. I got you. I got you.
One thing I was like pleasantly surprised about was the Claire and Chris legendary skins. I thought that was really cool, and I was not expecting them to do that.
So with that in particular, I sort of found it interesting, because again, we were still deciding, or not deciding, we were still wondering what the survivors were going to be. But because they had already introduced that whole legacy idea with like Cheryl, and Nancy, and basically those chapters, right? I figured at one point we were going to probably see the same thing happen because, again, it makes no sense to skip out on like Chris or Claire when they're just as iconic and just as part of that Resident Evil celebration as well. So, there you go. It turned out for the better, right? So.
Indeed. Yeah, no, I was very happy with this. I mean, ideally, I wish, RPD was actually in the rotation, but, I mean, overall, I was very happy with the event.
Absolutely. So with that being said, though, a little bit of a review for everybody who is just tuning in as we wait for this next match. Every killer and survivor for this particular tournament is actually going to be a licensed killer or survivor. So all of these teams are only allowed to play licensed characters. And for those of you who don't know what exactly those licensed characters are, here is the list. So for survivors, we have Steve and Nancy from the Stranger Things chapter, Quentin from the Nightmare on Elm Street, Cap from the Saw chapter, Cheryl from the Silent Hill chapter, Ash from the Evil Dead, Bill from the Left 4 Dead chapter, Lori from the Halloween chapter, and then you have Jill and Leon from the Resident Evil chapter. Of course, legendary skins will be counting as different characters, so if you're going for Cheryl, but you like Cheryl a lot, you can also have your team play a Cheryl, a Sybil, a Lisa, and a Lessa, and any of the other legendary skins that you guys like. As long as they look different in terms of the legacy items, it works out. And then for the killer side, we have the Nightmare from the Nightmare on Elm Street chapter, the Pig from the Saw, the Pyramid Executioner from the Silent Hill chapter, the Demogorgon from the Stranger Things, the Shape from Halloween, the Ghostface from the Ghostface chapter, and Nemesis from the Resident Evil chapter, as well as the Cannibal from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Really iconic. Again, this game's really well known to be that Hall of Fame of horror museum in a sense, right? You get to play as all of these characters and more. In addition to that, guess what else they have to do, Ray?
Run a licensed perk for all the survivors and the killers.
Yep. So if those of you who are unaware of what exactly those licensed perks fall under, you will be seeing quite a bit of Borrowed Time, Unbreakable, Decisive Strike, Detective's Hunch, Tenacity, Better Together and Inner Strength, Second Wind and Camaraderie, Flip Flop, Buckle Up, Medal of Man, Soul Guard, Blood Pack, Repressed Alliance, Blast Mine, Counterforce, Resurgence, Bite the Bullet, Flashbang, and Rookie Spirit for the survivor side. There are a couple of more perks that we left out. It is pretty big, generous list of perks. And then, of course, on the killer side, we could be seeing like Blood Warden, Remember Me, Make Your Choice, Hangman's Trick, Force Penance, Deathbound, Trail of Torment, Cruel Limits, Mindbreaker, Surge, Save the Best for Last, Play with Your Food, Dying Light, Thrilling Tremors, Furtive Chase, Lethal Pursuer, Hysteria, Eruption, Barbecue and Chili, Knockout, and Franklin's Demise. So again, there's a lot of perks that these characters and these players can use as far as what it comes down to, at least fulfilling that one requirement of having that one licensed perk. And then, of course, everybody else can be the other three perks you can actually use as well. For any of the ones that are already in the game. And as a reminder, if you don't do this and all of your perks do not include that one licensed one, it is going to be starting you off in your team minus 4 points. So don't run the risk. It is not worth it.
Indeed, and for survivors, it's -2 per survivor who don't do it. So, and we've already seen a killer not do it already. I mean, they ended up winning anyway, but it can cost you. So make sure you guys are following the rules.
Indeed. So it's going to be exciting. We're just going to be going ahead.
With that, it looks like they're in the lobby readying up. I think we're going to be transitioning here in just a second to the gameplay. Yep, here we go.
Awesome.
Yeah, and here we go. We are loading into the game. All right, final guesses. What do you think? What's the killer going to be?
Please be Pyramid Head. Please be Pyramid Head. Listen, y'all don't understand. That's my husbando, okay? He is a special boy. Like, please, I just need one. I just need a taste. One, okay? Just give it, please. I want to let everyone know too that if you ever see me in your lobbies and you are playing Pyramid Head, I will happily follow you around. That is no question asked. I will say, you know what, my team sucks. They can worry about gens and they can worry about unhooking you and me. We got a connection though. That's the important thing.
Indeed. But yeah, I mean, one of the things we'll have to talk about here during one of our breaks is the update to Trickster that's on the PTV right now. I'm very excited for that.
He did get. He is getting an update, correct? I think so.
Well, yeah, from what I'm hearing from the streamers and stuff, like he goes from like C tier to like B tier, like he's like on the rates level now.
Oh wow! So there you go. You know, some of these. It's great that this game just keeps evolving and just tries to like find all of the tricks and tips. You could say. I did that on purpose, by the way. I was trying to pun.
I was gonna say pun intended or no.
We all know puns are great things, right? So
yes, they are indeed. So let's see here. We'll be able to see the list of perks here and see if everyone's at least running it. Yeah, we see that one at least has one. Oh, Counterforce, there it is. Love to see it. Let's see. We got 2 borroweds. What's the last one running? Repressed. Oh, interesting. A repressed gamer. This should be interesting. Looks like Resurrected is the ones on the.
It looks like there is a.
Oh, Pyramid Head! Hey, you got what you wanted.
I got what I wanted, my baby, my baby. Oh my god, hold on, I gotta spam this in chat. Hold up. This is what we've been waiting for, everyone. My Pyramid Head has returned. Let's go, as it should be. And here we go. Gonna be going after the Leon right now, as he should. Gonna be actually using his trail to try to cut off the chase right now. Definitely seeing that happen. Oh, okay. Oh,
what is the Pyramid Head doing there? Oh my gosh. He's not gonna break Shack Pallet. What are you doing? That's God Pallet.
That is God Pallet, and it looks like he's gonna break off the chase from the Leon. So there's a couple of things that we could go over a little bit later as far as to what happened in that interaction. But right now we do see the Nancy. Oh, Leon's still right there though.
Oh, this is this is an intense chase. Like, I don't know what happened there with that interaction. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah. Oh, and not choosing to use the cage, instead gonna go ahead and actually just place the hook. I can see it, I understand, but you know, it happens. But this is gonna be an even trade right now, 1 hook, 1 gen, as well as Corrupt Intervention already in play right now. So we can definitely say that there is no ruin on the field, as he was able to actually stomp on the generator. We also have a trail as well. Leon's the only one affected by said trail. Tries to go ahead and cut off the chase as well with the slice. Not gonna get it though.
That was a nice prediction there by the Leon, but he might have decisive here. Oh no, that's very smart. Gonna put him in the cage on the second one.
Nice.
Because this decisive worry, that's actually I didn't think about that as Pyramid Head. You can really down them, and then on the second one you can totally just avoid the whole decisive thing and just put them in the cage.
Also time too, because it is significantly less time to actually go for the cage than actually try to hit the hook, right? And then in addition to that, that's also if Leon gets hit by any of the trails again, that could actually lead to a Mori sequence happening for Pyramid Head too. So not too bad of some gameplay right now happening here for the Pyramid Head. The pressure on gens could be a little bit more, but it definitely comes with the territory of like securing a 3-gen interaction.
Indeed, Corrupt's up, however, so they can start working on those gens again.
All right, and here we do see, has God Pallet actually been broken yet, or has it not?
He did not break the pallet in Shack yet, so Shack can still be ran pretty well.
Okay, and there it goes. Now the other thing too that I saw, oh, and this is actually a bad, quite a bit of some pressure here from the Leon right now, because this could be one hit and they can literally die from this one hit, with that sequence, and we're gonna go ahead and see that happen.
Let's see, this is another strong loop here. Cow Tree is another very strong loop because you have a window and a pallet to work with. It can be quite the loop there, but she's gonna like not to run that. It's a little bit harder to run it against a Pyramid Head who has his ranged attack he can use, however.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like the Nancy's going to be chased down right now. There's going to be 2 gens left on the board.
The only problem is, from what I could tell, all the gens were on the opposite side, like the uncorrupted side. So they need to really get a gen done on the corrupted side, or they're going to be in a massive 3-gen.
Absolutely. And in a way, it could work out for Pyramid Head.
Another one on the corrupted side. What was that interaction?
I'm not sure, actually. I think it was actually a sort of like an attempt on the vault, but it got stuck, probably because of the thorns or the barbed wire. Apologies. They're gonna go ahead and hook the Jill right now.
So that's the 3rd hook there for the Pyramid Head. So I'll have to see. I believe they're not in a 3-gen. I actually can't believe that. That other gen, I mean, it's kind of a 3-gen, but this gen he's walking to right now does have quite some. And they pop it. That's all 5 gens.
Okay, and it looks like with no secure on the sacrifices, this is gonna be probably a tough play right now for Pyramid Head. Hatch is also nearby a gate right now as well. Okay.
Oh, very well done. I think that was a death mark?
Yeah, I think it was, but unfortunately it's gonna go down. Yep.
Are they going to unhook the other unhook? Yeah, okay, they do it exactly right then. Very well done. The only problem is, the Jill is kind of like in the middle zone between 2 gates, however, so, I mean, honestly, I would consider leaving if I was the other 3. Like, unless you can heal everyone up and you feel like with borrowed time you can make it, maybe, but it's a little dicey.
Yeah, it's 100% a little dicey. It's not worth it, and especially when it comes to these competitive tournaments, you don't want to run the risk. They did. Oh, but the Cheryl, unfortunately, is going to go down.
Oh, she had deliverance, that's why. They didn't get her, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
She's unbroken, right? Yeah.
Oh, and then body block too. That's an interesting play. She is gonna, the Jill's gonna go down here. Okay.
Now, where's the Nancy is the question. I hope she's not going for the pickup. No, she's not.
Probably trying to go for the bait. At one point though, Pyramid Head is gonna have to pick up the Cheryl to actually place her on a hook.
I mean, my guess is maybe the Nancy's waiting to take Hatch. I'm not sure what's going on here.
It is a good choice to check. However, because Cheryl is already so close to...
No, she's like right here.
Yeah, it looks like she's gonna try to go, tries to hit the Nancy on her way out. Just gonna pick up the Cheryl at this point. Might as well, because Pyramid Head has already secured that Nancy has left. So this is just going to be that point there. Eternity is going to be going up 5 to 16.
Well, that should actually be 7, I believe, because that's second hook and she dies. So yeah, that should be 16 to 7 in favor of Resurrection.
All right. There you go.
Very well done there by Resurrection. They are really looking to get their revenge game on Eternity. I mean, it's a whole different kind of tournament. Maybe Eternity's not used to running these licensed killers. I mean, he did look a little shaky on Pyramid Head at some points.
Yeah, the other thing too with Pyramid Head that we can kind of like talk a little bit about, right, is when it comes to that slash that you can unleash when he puts down his sword, if you are not trying to preemptively do it off of like a vault or pallet, you end up what we kind of saw here, where there was a lot of missed opportunities and a lot of missed hits that cost it in the end. So it's really important that when you are playing as Pyramid Head, you try not to rely too much on that power. Instead, rely on setting up the trails because, as we saw there at some points, using the cage to avoid decisive strike and even to avoid some time placing on the hook helps quite a bit, right? So that's something that's really important for Pyramid Head. Instead of just focusing on that one shot that he can have when it goes onto the actual vault or pallet. So it was a good play. It just didn't happen as often as it could have.
So do you want to explain that interaction that happened at Shack when, like, I thought he was going to hit him or then he was throwing the pallet? Like, I thought that was so weird what happened there.
Okay, so what I assume happened is the same thing that happened to the Jill when she tried to do a window vault, with against Pyramid Head, and it is that the trail was most likely placed at some point when they tried to actually let go, to either cancel the animation or to actually swipe. And because the animation leaves that trail, it looks like the survivor had stepped on there first because Killer Instinct did go off on both the Leon and the Jill before they got hit. Now, the reason why it looked so clunky is because not only were they in the animation of getting hit by the barbed wires, or they touched the barbed wires and they kind of like moved around with like their hands. It was also because Pyramid Head was still in the process of canceling the animation to do the next move, which was to hit. So that's why when we saw the Leon, it looked like a bit of a cluster because he was trying to get to the pallet. He couldn't bring down the pallet, ended up getting hit after he brought down the pallet because of like the whole animation issues and it's sort of like a dedicated server issue. So to be honest, it's a whole bunch of like issues rolled into one.
Indeed. But yeah, so that was very well done there by, Hateless, or I'm sorry, not Hateless. They used to be called Hateless. By Resurrected. They're really looking to get their revenge here. They have a nice lead, 16-7. I mean, Eternity can always turn it around. The best part about Eternity is their survivors. Not that their killer's bad, their survivors are very good. So we'll have to see what happens here. But this match is far from over.
Yeah, it's far from over. Usually when we see these 16-7 leads, we tend to be like, oh, it's a pretty huge deficit. But when you kind of take into consideration all of that happens when you try to get those points between gens and between like the hooks, sometimes it comes out in the favor of whoever is really better at their role, right? So if a killer wasn't feeling too strong as being a killer, who knows? This team could be a stronger survivor team than they could be as a killer team. So very interesting. I appreciate the attempt at Pyramid Head. I loved it. Okay, I'm really happy. You made me happy. You played my boy. And yeah. So that's that. I'm just really happy I got to see Pyramid Head. That's what I wanted. But in any case, we are still waiting on Eternity to join. We're just needing one more player. Again, if you are competing tonight, definitely be sure to be on top of those invites. You don't want to delay these matches. We want to see them play just as much as you want to play them. So.
Indeed. Yeah. So, have you seen the Trickster changes at all in the PTB?
I've seen a little bit. I think it was something to do with his speed, right, to throwing the knives, if I'm not mistaken.
There's a lot they changed. So, like with the knives, you know how it normally takes 8 to actually injure you?
Mm-hmm.
It's now 6.
Oh wow!
And I believe he throws the knives a little bit faster. And when he activates his Fury mode, it used to take 1.5 seconds, and now only takes half a second to activate it. So he can just start throwing knives really quickly. And now when he activates Fury, it reloads him too.
Nice.
So it's quite the buff for him.
I'm okay with said buff, and the reason I'm okay with said buff is because there are times when I've played Trickster, and there's just like you have to kind of consider it as like the spread rate in the amount, right, that it takes. So as you're going through the chase and you're throwing those knives, if your spread is so big that it takes 8 of those knives to actually hit, you end up using more knives than you need to, on top of the fact that you're going at a slower pace, in addition to some of the loops that are happening. So for it to take 6, I'm okay with. So
I mean, and the thing they did also add to compensate for that is like it like if he doesn't get all 6 on you and you get away, it drains on you faster than it used to. So like you know what I mean? Like the purple on like your on the HUD, it will go away faster now since it takes less to injure you.
absolutely, and that's why when I saw those particular changes, it didn't bother me so much, because again, it is a it's a change that works out for the best, right? So
I feel like for like if you go against someone who's really good at Trickster and has been playing Trickster and that's what they play, these changes are going to be good and he's probably going to dominate. But for like the casual player, picking up Trickster is not going to make it any easier. Like, I mean, maybe like the 6 knives make it a little bit easier, but like it's not going to be like anyone can pick up Trickster and be OP.
yeah, all right. So I think we're going to go ahead and transition over real quick to our license to kill graphic. So this graphic in particular is basically explaining some of the rules. So of course we have teams of 4 or 5 players who are competing tonight. We've had 16 teams tonight in the tournament. It has been open to PlayStation, PC, and Xbox. I think it was also open to NA and EU, if I'm not mistaken. As a reminder, but this particular event is focused on the licensed killers and the licensed survivors. So essentially, all your horror icons, you're going to be seeing them today, both survivor side and killer side.
Indeed, and as we explained earlier, you only have to use the licensed killers and survivors. So if you guys need a list of that, the licensed survivors are Bill, Quentin, Lori, Detective Tap, Nancy, Steve, Ash, Cheryl, Jill, and Leon. And on the side of killers, we have Freddy, Pig, Pyramid Head, the Demogorgon, the Shape or Michael, and then you have Ghostface, Nemesis, and then you have the Cannibal, or as most of the community likes to refer to him as Bubba.
Absolutely, it's almost canon, right?
Because at this point,
because of his, I think from the movies themselves. But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and transition to the game scene, where we'll be going ahead and seeing our lovely survivors now, and readying up as we go ahead and wait for them. It looks like we're gonna see the Stranger Things chapter and Laurie Strode and Quentin again. I am so happy that they have fixed Quentin's model design. I am for once, like, again, have always wanted that, and when they were doing the actual fixes, I actually had questions as if they were going to touch him, and they did, and I'm happy about it.
Indeed. And with the way this tournament works, we have to keep in mind that every killer has to run at least one killer perk, licensed killer perk, and every survivor has to run at least one survivor license perk. So as we're on the loading screen here, I can go over some of the main ones we'll probably see. On the survivor side, we're going to see a lot of borrowed times, unbreakables, decisive strikes. You might see some counter forces or detective's hunch here or there. Maybe we see a flashbang, maybe, but that's just me, being a little optimistic, wanting to see it. Or maybe, blast mine, that'd be cool, but I don't know about that. And on the side of...
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Go ahead. No, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt there, but it is always interesting to see that blast mine is not being used right now. I'm hoping that changes, because believe it or not, I feel like it's such a good counterplay to anybody trying to stomp on those gens. It's also as a way of like saying to them, hey, don't you do anything you're not supposed to,
And on the killer side, some of the perks you might see, I mean, definitely Lethal Pursuer probably be a big one. Maybe Barbecue and Chili. We might see Save the Best for Last. Those are some of the main killer ones from the licensed survivors we'll probably see.
Absolutely. And we're going to go ahead and check out all of these perks, making sure that everybody has a licensed perk. As a reminder, that is the important thing. If your team does not follow those rules, you'd be starting out with -4. So don't make that mistake, okay? Oh!
Yeah, demo!
You get
Hey! I got what I wanted now. All right, a Demogorgon. We both just taken W's today.
Well, we do get both W's today. Let's go. Why don't you talk a little bit about
Nice hit there on the lunge. Nice hit on the lunge there. So if you guys don't know about Demogorgon, he has like a lunge attack almost. It's even better than Freddy's. It's like a little charge, like jump lunge attack he does, like he just did there. He missed it, but he has like the range on it, and it can be used to break pallets almost instantly as well.
Absolutely. And here we go with chasing the Steve right now. Actually, this is almost sort of like a lore match too, if you think about it, trying to chase after Steve Harrington.
Ooh, didn't even think about that. That is very true, because they both come from the same, a nice hit there, and Steve goes down.
Yes, and with that though, that is going to be one hook for 2 gens. Not too sure how I feel about the trade. Oh, it looks like we got a DC, unfortunately.
That's not good, because all the points for that person get sent to Resurrected. Unfortunately, that's how it works with the rules.
All right, it looks like Resurrection's gonna go ahead and keep on playing. We're gonna be getting a word from our mods backstage as to what the final decision about that DC is going to be. But it's definitely, it's definitely sad. Unfortunately, that's how it works. It is how the way things are. But we're gonna go right into this chase again. We're gonna be trying to go after another Steve. Or wait, no, yeah, this is Steve. So the one who got hooked was actually Kristen.
Indeed. So I guess we were a little off on who we saw there. But yeah, it has been determined that because of the DC, all the points will be going to the killer, just like I thought.
This is an important door to break, right? Because of the looping position that can happen. Does go for the pallet early. You kind of have to throw those pallet early anyways because of the Demogorgon's lunge. Tries to go ahead and get another lunge here. Again, that lunge is pretty straightforward. So, yeah. Alright, let's see.
And he should go down here. Yep. Steve goes down.
Yep. And here we go. We're going to go ahead and put Steve on the hook right now. And this is actually going to leave Quentin still injured and Lori still going strong and full force. Actually going to teleport into the stranger world or into the other world where they are currently undetectable, and it looks like the chase might be happening soon as some of those scratches are appearing now. Okay, tries to keep it clean there as far as making sure that the red light doesn't get seen. Still gonna force Lori out of the shack and trying to catch her off of this loop. Nice use of sort of like bait, but not really a bait, if that makes sense. Definitely the nice back and forth helped the Demogorgon out pretty well. Gonna go for the hit
Nice
here
hit
now.
there. Yep.
I think if they can time this lunge, it might work out in their favor. You never want to try to lunge into the cornfield because you never know if you're gonna miss or not. That lunge almost hitting. Again, another missed lunge attempt. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in general, like, demos don't want to just be lunging the entire time. I think he's lunging a little bit too much and he's missing too many of them, and it's giving them a chance.
Yeah, with the way that this game is set up though, it's a little hard for them to apply any gen pressure as they did before. So this is where it's going to be kind of getting a little bit dicey as far as where the Demogorgon's coming from. The survivors though doing a really good job in trying to stay alive despite that DC.
Indeed, I mean, Let's see what happens here. For any of, yeah, like I said, for any of you guys who don't watch the demo a lot, the way the demo works, obviously he has the lunge that we've been seeing a lot, but he also has the teleporters he can set up, where he can dig through his little portals, and he can teleport to any of the other portals on the map.
Yeah, and those portals actually give notification as to if someone is stepping on them or not. So here we go. It looks like the Steve has gone down. I'm gonna go ahead and put them on the hook.
Indeed, that was nice there. It was one of those that happened there where he threw the pallet, but the hit still happened because of the lunge, so very unfortunate there. So it looks like the Steve is on his second hook already, and he already has sights of Quentin, it looked like. He gets the pallet destroyed there. No hit so far on the Steve. On the Quentin, they get the Steve unhooked, however.
Yep. And looks like another chase is going to be happening right now against the Lori. Going to go for the lunge.
Yes, nice hit on the Lori there. And he's not going to tunnel the Steve, probably for fear of decisive. Oh, nice lunge hit on the Lori. Nice job.
That was a very strong lunge there. That's actually going to be able to take Lori now onto the hook. Looking pretty good right now as far as their hook trades. I think both both Lori, Quentin, and Steve are going to be on their last hook after this. So.
Indeed.
Alright, one gen has been completed. That's going to leave 2 gens on the map still left to do. Okay, and here we go. It looks like we're going to be chasing after the Quentin right now. He has not been hit yet, so just a matter of actually going and chasing. Goes for the hit and gets it. Gonna take them out of this loop here. It looks like Lori has been sacrificed fully. Unfortunately, that is going to be the point, and leaving both the Quentin and the Steve at a very, very tough position as both of them are injured. It looks like we're going after the Steve now. Bloodlust is pretty active right now, trying to play around here with these loops. Goes for the lunge. Unfortunately, that's going to miss and also cancel out the Bloodlust. Still chasing down the Steve. Gonna get caught in that corner right now. Tries to circle around. Oh, nice little bit of a bait to turn the back. Activates the dead hard. No count there as it's been used. And there you go. Steve's gonna go down.
Oh, is he gonna actually hook Steve? I believe Steve's on his last hook. Was he? Yeah, he was. That's another kill.
Yes, it is another kill. So even if Quentin was to get the hatch, it's not like it's worth the risk, right? Because they've already, like, Eternity's already gone and essentially played as much as they could. Getting the hatch is just sort of like, okay, let's just try to end this then. I'm not gonna try to do more gens. It looks like there were some scratch marks, but it definitely confused the Demogorgon at the moment.
Indeed. So how have you liked the gameplay from this demo so far?
I've been enjoying it, actually. I mean, it kind of sucks about the DC because that's just definitely a factor here. That's gonna kind of like hurt the surviving team, because I feel like if they had that 4th player and they didn't have that DC, they could have definitely played a little bit longer as far as like when it came down to gens. Probably seeing like more of a 1-gen thing happening. But as far as the Demogorgon itself, really good choice in placings of their portals, as well as in addition to that, just sort of baiting the other survivors from actually trying to finish off their loops. You can definitely see the mind games that are happening between these two. Oh, and the Quentin's gonna escape through the hatch. There you go. And with that, Resurrection is going to take it 29 to 15.
Indeed. That was very well done there by Resurrected. And with that, unfortunately, with the DC Eternity, our champions from the last tournament have been knocked out, and Resurrection gets their revenge.
Done. Sorry, I had to. With that being said, though, that's gonna be it for this match. That was pretty good. How did you like it?
To see Pyramid Head and Demo, we both get our wins today. Felt really good to see both of them. I mean, the Pyramid Head play was a little lackluster, unfortunately, but that Demo play, I mean, he did miss a lot of lunges, but I feel like he realized toward the end that he needed to stop doing that, and he was doing a lot better job there at the end.
Absolutely. So we're gonna go ahead and see the next match that's gonna be coming up pretty soon. It's gonna be 4 Dwights, 1 Locker versus SK Gaming next, and we're gonna be heading over to Mother's Dwelling. Mama!
I love Mother's Dwelling. The interesting thing is that's I believe Mother's Dwelling is the biggest map in the game. I can't remember. I know the Red Forest are the biggest maps. I don't know if Mother's Dwelling is the biggest of those permutations of Red Forest. But yeah, this should be a good match. And with that, we are going to transition here to a quick break while we get everyone in the lobby and get them readied up. We appreciate you guys tuning in so far. We will be back here in a short 5-minute break as we will be welcoming you guys to the 4 Dwights, 1 Locker versus SK Gaming. We will see you guys here in a bit.
Welcome back, everyone. Hello, my name's Saki, and we are back with our Dead by Daylight tournament. I'm joined here by Ray. Hello.
Hey guys, what's going on? We're back from our break. We appreciate you guys staying with us. But we do have a match that should be starting here in the next couple minutes between 4 Dwights, 1 Locker and SK Gaming. We should be in for a good match here.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure I've seen the 4 Dwights in 1 Locker.
Yes,
right?
They have been in all the tournaments since the beginning. And I believe SK is a newer team. I don't know if they were in the last one, but they weren't in our initial tournaments.
Okay. Well, still exciting to see nonetheless. I'm really excited to see if we get any other, DLC killers. I'm really happy we got to see Pyramid Head and we got to see Demogorgon in our last matches. It's going to be quite a treat.
Indeed. We'll have to see. I mean, I love the variety we've already seen today. We've seen Nightmare, we've seen Demo, we've seen Pyramid Head. I'm really hoping to see a Nemesis today. Really hoping for it. So we'll have to see.
Absolutely. I think we might, like we mentioned, and we've mentioned before quite a bit. With the Nemesis, there is that chance to be that sort of I want to say like competitive killer, right? He's not terrible, and he's not that scary. As when it comes to actually dealing with him as a survivor side. But it definitely just comes down to, again, how you can implement that tentacle there. So for sure.
Indeed. So as we said, this is a license to kill tournament. So only licensed survivors and killers will be played. So the only killers we could possibly see ran here would be Freddy, Pig, Pyramid Head, Demogorgon, Michael, or The Shape, Ghostface, Nemesis, and Bubba. I'm doing like a mental checklist here. We've already gotten Freddy. We've already gotten Pyramid Head. We've already gotten Demo. I want to see some pigs. I want to see all of them today. Like, that would be really cool. I doubt it, but that would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I'm really excited to see what we get. And speaking of which, we're gonna go ahead and switch over to the game side and check out this match that's right now happening. Alrighty. What is your favorite event in Dead by Daylight while we wait for this match to load?
I really like the New Year's events actually.
Right? I think the New Year's are good too.
Yeah, I think there's so much fun when everything's decorated for whatever the New Year's is, and I really liked the firecracker toolboxes they did. So it's really cool, and like when you would hook, like the fireworks would go off. So it's really interesting. So in this match here, just keep in mind, folks, 4 Dwights, 1 Locker is playing Killer first. So SK Gaming is on the Survivor side.
Alrighty. And it looks like we have counter 4.
We see a wake up on that side.
I'm curious about the wake up, how that's gonna
Decisive and borrowed. Okay, interesting. So we'll have to see. Looks like every survivor here had a license perk, so they look good to go.
Well, it looks like our spectator unfortunately got booted here. That's not good. Perhaps maybe another DC. Oh, it looks like someone quit instead? Hello?
I don't know what happened here. As we get more information, so as we said, we listed the killers that could possibly be played. These are the survivors that could be played. You could play Bill, Quentin, Lori, Detective Tap, Nancy, Steve, Ash, Cheryl, and of course Jill and Leon from the most recent chapter.
Yeah, for sure. And then of course on the killer side, if you are playing killer in this tournament, you'd be playing the following. You would be only allowed to play the Nightmare, the Pig, the Executioner, also known as Pyramid Head, the Demogorgon, the Shape, also known as Michael Myers, the Ghostface, the Nemesis, and the Cannibal, also known as Leatherface. So quite a bit of, I want to say, pretty long list for killers. What's crazy too is as far as it comes down to their additions, we saw Ash, Ghostface, and the Cannibal, as well as Bill, as being those characters that were introduced as paragraph chapters in this game.
Indeed. And then, like we said, they have to run a licensed perk. So, I mean, obviously, we saw some of the perks they were running. We're going to see Borrowed Times, of course. We're going to see Unbreakables. Wake Up was an interesting one. But Decisive Strike will be another big one. Maybe we see a Flashbang play. Counterforce will be another big one to find totems. And crossing my fingers on Blast Mine. And then on the killer side, you'll probably see a lot of Lethal Pursuer, maybe some Barbecue and Chili possibly, and maybe some Save the Best for last.
Yeah, for sure. It does look like it was just a simple map change as to that's why they had to actually quit and come back to the lobby. So we'll be going back into that lobby. I believe everybody's going to be staying the same. That way we can get it started.
Indeed. So sorry again about that, folks. Just a little mishap there with the map, but we should be right back into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I really like that they added some more info to Bill's story, by the way, in the latest Rift. Definitely adds quite a bit of chance for these some of these DLCs to get some more story expansion.
Indeed. Oh, looks like we're going with another Nightmare. 4 Dwights, 1 Locker playing the Freddy. Not a big shock. He is probably one of the better equipped tournament style killers within the licensed group.
Oh, it looks like we have the Nightmare happening right now.
Indeed, yep.
We also do want to let everyone know that the killer does have, excuse me, does have their 1 licensed killer perk.
They do. We will not tell you, obviously, for stream sniping purposes, but they do have their 1 licensed perk. Once we see it actually happen live in game, we can mention it, but until then, we will not. Oh god, now it's been thrown and it's broken.
Yep. And that's a big risk to the survivor with God Pallet gone. Survivors really depend on that loop for the killer shack, and it's definitely sort of like a crutch as far as to trying to survive it. But it looks like we're gonna be going after the
here.
Yeah. Oh,
Nice, buddy. Did he get hit through the pallet? Yes, he did. So unfortunate there for the Bill. I mean, one thing I'm noticing about this Freddy already, because I do play Freddy as my killer that I play. He's not using his snares that much, and snares are so important to Freddy.
So I can probably explain why, but the explanation it still isn't too valid because you can still set up snares even while they're falling asleep.
Very well done there by the Freddy. Nice freaking fake to get her to get off the high ground and then get the hit on her. That was awesome. I mean, the only problem here is he's just doing like hit and run tactics and all they're doing is healing. Like, he needs to start going for downs at this point.
Absolutely, but while the killer is doing those tactics, the survivors themselves are not really completing or being consistent on their gens. They're actually not committing to them. So this is kind of like where we see like the back and forth. Someone has to make a decision if they want to be able to get out of this game alive.
Indeed.
All right, and here we go. We're trying to hunt down. This is actually for the Dream Realm, right? A darker map than the blue that we usually see in Mother's Dwelling. So, you know, sometimes some of these cosmetics can definitely lead you to miss out on some survivors. But it does look like the Jill actually has awoken from her dreams.
Yes, indeed. That was one of the changes they actually made to Freddy when they reworked him. Whereas if you go to the clock and wake yourself up, even if he hits you, he can't put you in the dream state right away.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's goes a dream stare on that pallet. Very good choice. Not gonna actually get caught by the snare because Quentin is still trying to fall asleep. The timer is still on there. Nice pallet throw though. Gonna stop Freddy from being able to fully lunge on the Quentin.
It's very interesting, however, because like I feel like the Freddy's struggling. He's not doing that well, and we just had only one gen pop. Like I feel like SK should have popped more gens by now.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And again, it's like you said, once they got hit, they didn't really hop on a gen and continue. They healed, they are waking up, they're doing more trying to get rid of the statuses than actually trying to commit to a gen.
They're really letting Freddy's kit on its own just do its work. Like you said, they're healing, they're waking themselves up. Like you don't want to do that a lot of the times with Freddy. It's just, especially in a tournament setting, it's more beneficial to just get the gens done.
Yeah, and it does look like the Quentin finally has gotten hit. Again, this is sort of like a look. You see, not committing to the full chase, and now we're going after the Jill. Another big thing right now happening for Dwight's One Lockers. They're not committing, which we see here. So hopefully we can definitely see it happen. We do have, I don't think, not too many people are just entering the dream state. So everybody's still trying to kind of like
on the Jill again.
Yeah.
He's not committing to any downs. I don't understand what he's doing here. He's not getting his team any points. Let's see. Oh, very well done there by the Quentin. I think he goes down here though, unless he has dead hard to reach the tab pallet, and he does.
All right. Okay. Misses the plunge on there. Gonna break that pallet though.
He reaches the window. He's probably gonna. He'll probably make the window going around again. Oh nope, he had the snare there. Very well done. He should go down. Oh, the body block.
Jinx by me.
She won't get
it. Yeah, unfortunately that body block was going to be, it was a little bit untimed there in a sense, and Quentin's going to be going down. I believe this is the first hook.
Think about how crazy this is though. 3 gens for 1 hook.
Yep.
And like we're pretty far into the game already, and the fact that he's only gotten one hook.
Yeah. I would say also too that with the survivors side, despite trying to get rid of all the statuses, their progress probably is just starting to finish, maybe halfway done on some of the gens that have left. And there it goes, one gen down, another left on the board. You just need that one more to escape.
Indeed. Looks like he's eyeing the hook from here. I wonder if they're gonna go for the unhook here or not. Or if they're gonna prioritize getting a gen done and then unhooking. I mean, I probably would do that if I was them. Nothing much is happening here. Looks like he's just kind of looking around for people, but nothing big's happening.
Yeah, this is a little bit tricky right now for Fortnite's One Locker. You either try to sort of proxy camp and not fully camp the hook and let the unhooks happen.
Oh no! Oh no! Yikes! That looks like a make your choice play here. And they're gonna body block for him. If you guys don't know what make your choice is, what happens with make your choice is when you unhook, as a survivor, when you unhook someone off the hook, you become exposed, so you can be one hit and downed for, I think it's like 45 seconds or something like that.
It's a good amount of time, yep. And that perk actually comes from the pig, who is on from the Saul chapter. It's almost as if like, haha, you want to play a game? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And he's not playing this pallet loop very well here. I mean, he's gonna get a hit on the bill, but like, the mind games are not doing well for the Freddy here.
Yeah, the mind games are definitely not there. It's sort of it was sort of like a good play for the survivors, not a good play for Freddy here right now. And this is sort of a struggle because you kind of have to camp these next three gens and sort of make sure that they're not on it. We're gonna go though and chase after the Lori right now though.
The problem with the Freddy here at this point is one of the most essential perks we've seen it run on the other Freddys is Tinkerer, and he's not running it. We would have seen gens proc by now since they've done 4 gens, and Tinkerer is just so important for him. It's like, because once you Tinkerer procs, you can just teleport to it and you get your value off Ruin. I mean, they did find Ruin pretty fast on this map, but still.
And the Jill again gonna do the body blocking to secure that Lori escapes. A nice choice to drop down from the ledge there. Unfortunately, has to give up the chase because he couldn't find the Lori in time. Tries to go for a lunge, not gonna get it on the Jill. And again, this is what we saw throughout this entire game, where these survivors have done such a great job in sort of being the distraction and being that protective of each other, where it's forcing Freddy to actually switch their targets and not committing to chases.
Yeah, unfortunately, this Freddy has commitment issues. I hope he's not like that in his relationships in real life, but this has been a
wow,
yeti.
Okay. A little out of pocket there, but that's okay. We're just gonna keep it going and see if we can get this Lori now, who's now on the hill. And not gonna actually pay attention to the Lori, instead just gonna set up traps here again. This is not a bad decision either, because it definitely prevents the gens from happening since he is patrolling them. But the thing is, you have 4 survivors still up. It's hard to keep track of all 4 survivors compared to just keeping track of all of like 3 or 2, so definitely having to be committed into just strictly monitoring these gens while also making sure that nobody touches them, and in addition to that, making sure that they go down. Very crucial. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, okay, so an update on Make Your Choice, it is 60 seconds for Make Your Choice, not 45, so it's even longer. I mean, at this point, it's really just him trying to the Freddy of Fort Dwight's One Locker, just trying to defend this 3-gen. I mean, it's a decent 3-gen. Like, these gens are actually pretty close to each other, but I mean, eventually in this situation, the survivors are just gonna win. Like, it's tough to guard all 3.
In addition to that, like, you also have to take note. They can literally let one person just take the hook at this point, right? And then just go strictly for that gen and commit to it. But if you don't have anything slowing down those gen progresses, and you're not gonna you're not gonna have anything to help commit to your chases. Misses the bill too as well. You know, that's where you're gonna be struggling. You have to commit to something, either gen patrol or commit to the hooks. And at this point, maybe committing to the hooks for the sake of trying to run the risk, so that the game can actually give it to the survivor side, can work. But we'll see what happens here. Again, we're gonna get off the bill and go straight for the Jill right now. We do have 3 survivors injured.
Yes, indeed. I mean, the Jill, the only reason he had to go for the Jill there was because the Jill was going to body block again. I mean, his problem here is he's not breaking pallets either. Like,
No,
he set up the snare, but like he didn't have enough distance to be able to go hit. And there goes the final gen pop.
yeah.
And they're going to body block for the Bill all the way, most likely.
Yep. All right, the Jill's gonna get hit. This could be an easy rotation or loop back. It does look like we're gonna see the Bill go after.
Yeah, because they already have a hook on the Bill, so they're hoping to get a second hook on this Bill. Oh, a window. That's advantage to Survivor. Oh, I don't know. Oh, there he is. The Bloodlust it's happening. He will definitely get to hit this Bill, I believe. Oh, snare. Yeah, he's going to go down here. Oh, the dodge. This Freddy's just getting spun around, and he finally gets the hit and the knockdown on the Bill.
Right, and we're gonna go after the Lori right now, seeing if maybe trying to see what they can get out of it. Quentin again. Yeah, this whole entire match has just been like hopping off of survivors.
If I was them, you've done so good. Like, just get out. Like, he's only gotten one hook. Like, at max at this point, he's gonna get 4 points. You'll be up 16-4. Just leave. Oh, they got the Bill up. I honestly think this is kind of a mistake by SK Gaming. I think they should have just let the Bill go, because Bill had already been hooked, so you only get 3 more points from them. If you let a fresh survivor like this die, then like you're just giving them more points, because they'll get the 4 points.
It is not the first time I've seen like getting greedy for points sort of like has happened, right? So, you know, better don't be greedy and just leave. You already have a huge lead in your points, so that your killer doesn't have to stress out when they play their next game. Giving this killer the opportunity to get more points is not something you want to do in these types of tournaments.
Indeed, I mean, looks like they do want to go for this. They're all healed up except for the Quentin, it looks like.
Yeah, this is a play that I kind of don't approve of, just because you're also putting the position of sort of like forced camping on the killer when they're just trying to secure that, you know, like that 1 point that they kind of want to have when they go over to the survivor side. So it's hard. It's really hard to kind of like gauge whether or not, you know, this type of deal happens. Plus, you have that timer at the top for the end game. So, you know, it's just one of those situations that makes it really tough. And you kind of have to be okay with just giving up that 1 point. Again, you have a significant lead. You know, you can make up for those points that were lost when you go and play on the killer side. Alrighty, and with that being said, though, 4 Dwights and 1 Locker is going to be going up and actually having 10-5 with SK Gaming on top.
It's not correct. They have to update SK Gaming because they didn't update for the 3 escapes. It should be 16-5.
Ah, okay. So it'll definitely be 16-5. This is why I do not do math. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, It looks like 19-5. Sorry, no, 16. All right, you gotta love math and numbers, right?
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, like I said, I feel like they should have just let their build die. It would be 16-4 at this point. Like you just gave them an extra point for no reason.
Yeah, there was definitely that like situation where they did not have to do that, and they did, which kind of sucks because it's like, you know, why give them those points when you can easily regain that 1 point or that 2 point that you lost in the survivor side, and you can get it from the killer side. So
Indeed. I mean, overall, that was kind of rough for that Freddy there. But I mean, anything can happen. We'll have to see how good the killer on the side of SK Gaming is. Because I mean, he could whiff just as bad. Is all I mean.
Yeah, and that's actually something that I wanted to mention, that in these types of situations, if you're not careful, you end up having kind of like, oh yeah, my killer's gonna do great, but then guess what? Because you wanted to basically play around and see how much greed of points you wanted, you know, your killer doesn't turn out to be doing too well. That survivor team was probably the strongest. So again, sometimes you have to be able to give up those points just so you can, you know, give a very cushioned spot to your other teammates. And that's one of the biggest things about these tournaments too, is you can't play it like a regular public game. You do not have to save everyone. You can always risk that one hook or even that one stage, to make sure that at least your team stays comfortable in this tournament.
Um, Indeed, and I mean, I don't know how good the survivors on the side of Four Dwight's One Lockers, but I mean, if you can escape with all four of them, like you pretty much have to go for that at this point. You got to go for a four-man escape and hope that they don't get too many hooks in the process, because all they need is, let's see. So if you got your max 18, that would put them at. So it'd be 23. It'd be 23 to 19 if you got the 18. So you just need 5 points from the hooks to beat them. So as long as they don't, you got to make sure they don't get more than 5 hooks, and all four of you escape.
Yep, it's gonna be tough, but it's possible. This is Dead by Daylight after all, you know. So, and it also depends on obviously what character they're gonna choose when it comes down to this. So we'll see. Definitely, again, make sure everybody, you are on time with your lobbies. We're gonna be switching over. We're gonna switch the teams over, and go from there. Interesting nightmare that we saw too, Ray. Like this was sort of the story of you focus too much on chasing instead of committing, right?
Yeah, he was way too much into the hit and run tactic than he should have been. I mean, as Freddy, at least when I played Freddy and all the videos I've looked up when I was trying to learn him, your goal with Freddy is to get someone out of the game as soon as possible. You need to commit to downing someone, and even when they get unhooked, tunneling them. Like, you need to get someone out of the game with Freddy. It relieves so much pressure if you can just get one out of the game.
Yeah. It's really hard for you to go after these like these chases, and again, you're not, how can I put this, you're risking so much, right? And the survivors also too, they were kind of guilty about this too, where they were trying to take away their statuses, like the to heal and to in the dream state, where some of their gens were not actually getting finished and fully being committed. So, you know, what helped them the most is when they kind of changed it up a little bit, where they actually were like, all right, our looping skills are pretty good, let's just commit to these gems and come back to them, because we already know that he's going to try to hop from one person to another person, especially where the body blocking came to play too, right? There was a lot of protective hits and not so much actually just hitting them and then going back to that one person again. So a lot of commitment. I'm kind of hoping we don't see the same thing from this killer team that's going to be playing right now, because that is going to hurt them as far as if they're going to be able to sit comfortably. And I think also this again, the same thing needs to happen for the survivor team. They just need to be able to commit. You have to take the risk at some point and commit to the gens, commit to your strategies, commit to what you need to do, communicate with your team members, right? Make sure that they know what's going on, and going from there, right? So it's tricky, it's tough. Obviously you don't want to spend too much time on a chase, but there's also a time where you kind of need to be able to cut off that chase from taking too long. That's part of what makes you a good killer, is the fact that you can stop chases from being too long.
Indeed, we'll have to see what happens here, but I mean, they have such a comfortable lead, maybe they get a little risky and pick more of a fun killer, and we'll have to see. This would be a good chance to possibly see like maybe a pig or a ghost face. That might be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's crazy too is pig at least for. So back in when Dead by Daylight first started, I used to compete a lot in Dead by Daylight tournaments, and at the time it was console. They recently just came out, and crossplay wasn't active, and so one of the most common killers that we got to see was the pig when these tournaments happened. And interesting enough, pig can be pretty competitively viable in this situation. I think a lot of people don't really realize just how well she can do, because you have the crouch, you have a really good lunge that is a horizontal hitbox, right? That goes like sideways. And then you have, of course, the traps that will stop you from doing gens because you have that trap set up on your head.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem with pig is just with the traps, it's just very RNG based.
Yes.
That's the only problem there. Like, you can get really good luck and someone has to go to all 4 of your traps to get it off finally, or they could go to the first one and get it off. Like,
yeah. Always been, if I've ever asked for a buff, it's probably more of like, hey, can you like add more boxes to like at least the map? Because if you think about it, everybody has a 25% chance, right? Or technically speaking, a 75% chance, depending on how long you take. So the odds are definitely in the favor. As soon as they're going through all of those boxes, it renders the pig useless if they touch all 4 boxes and then they get the key, right? Because there's still enough time by then. So I truly think that if there was ever a buff, it's just to add more boxes, increase the RNG on it, instead of actually just keeping it with just those 4, or the probability, better said. Statistics, math, we don't go together, so. I tried.
For sure. So it looks like we do have everyone in the lobby. They're just kind of waiting on everyone to put on their perks and ready up. So we should be going into the second round of this match between 4 Dwights, 1 Locker, and SK Gaming here shortly.
Awesome.
Yeah, but if you're, on the side of if you're on the side of SK Gaming, you just need to take this momentum that you got, move it forward, and just keep it going. You got a big lead, just keep it. And if you're on the side of 4 Darts, 1 Locker, like we said, you can't let more than 4 hooks happen, or else you're gonna go. Like, you can let 5 happen, and if 5 happen and all 4 escape, you go into a tie, and we have to redo it. Yep. But if you let more than 5, you've lost. But if you can get only 4 hooks, but all 4 of you get out, then you win. So they do have a win condition.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot that can happen. That's definitely not in question here. It's just a matter of how it's gonna happen. Where I think it will definitely determine how which team will get to move on. So we'll definitely see. If you are in your lobbies, please behave. Smile. Make sure we get these games on the roll. Remember, we are just as excited to watch you play the match as you are to play them. So the faster we get these lobbies going, the faster we can get through this. Awesome. All right, so I think we can go ahead and transition over to the game screen. It looks like we're just about to get ready up for our players here. Oh, we have a Cheryl as an Alessa. I approve.
Love to see the variety of outfits. It looks like we have that. What is that? Is that a triple prestige Leon or is that a double? I can't. It's a little blurry for me. But he's got. I see the bloody shirt and the bloody pants for sure. I just can't tell if his face is bloody. I don't think it is. So I think it's just a double prestige Leon.
I really like prestiging. I know it resets everything, but the costumes are just pretty cool. So
yeah, I like the bloody costumes overall. Looks like I think we're just waiting on a killer ready up at this point, and we should be going right in. But yeah, I mean, I hope to see an interesting killer here. I just hope we just don't get a bunch of nightmare over and over and over. So come on, something different. Let me see it, SK Gaming. All right, here we go.
I believe we're still on Mother's Dwelling as well, I think.
Yes, it will stay the same. Mother's Dwelling, biggest map in the game. So we'll have to see how this goes. I mean, the bigger maps do favor survivors better. I mean, if you guys think about it, like the really big maps do favor the survivors. Like Mount Ormond is considered like the most survivor-friendly map in the game, and it's also one of the largest. But this is quite a big map, so survivors. I mean, it kind of makes sense how well the survivors did, but we'll have to see if that holds true for Fort Dwight's One Locker.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Mount Ormond. That is not my favorite map. I truly hate that map. That map is not only is it big, but unfortunately, it's one of those maps that, as a killer, if you don't protect that middle gen, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, if you get that middle gen popped, then you can just do 4 gens in the 4 corners, and you're good. That's why that map is so survivor friendly. If you can just pop that middle one, you're gonna be good. So here we go. Let's see what perks we got running here. I do see the decisive and unbreakable on the first one, so they're good. Decisive on the second one, they're good. Oh, Medal of Man. Ooh.
I have not seen that perk since it got nerfed.
I believe that's the one where like you can take hits, right? And like
yes.
Yeah.
But it's changed since it was first launched.
Is that a demo? It's a demo! Hey! Demogorgon, and it looks like that Hex Ruin just went off, and it looked like we saw that Survivor also cleansing it too, so that's unfortunate for them. Gets a hit on the Leon, very nicely done there. Let's see how this loop goes. It's gonna take the window, interesting.
Alright, tries to use the lunge to bait out the pallet, but not gonna work out too well there. It's gonna keep the pallet there though.
He's trying to do what's it called? What was that window blocked off? Be a bamboozle or something? Did that window look blocked off to you?
I think that window does look blocked off, and we did get confirmation that is going to be bamboozle. Ruin also was on the field. It is now gone. So that was actually quite a quick Ruin removal, if I do say so myself. Also, too, notice Corrupt is still on the board as well. So with Ruin gone, that's even more. The Nancy looked like they was destroying the Ruin.
Yeah, very well done there, and there goes another gen pop. I believe that's what, 2 gens so far? I can't tell with the UI being all glitched right now.
It's okay, it happens. I think we might be looking at regens actually.
Regen's gone already, so yeah, very well done there by Fortnite to unlock. Oh, it's 2 gens apparently. We just got confirmation from the production team.
That was a little bit of a weird way to cancel out their lunch.
But not going to be enough to reach the pallet.
That explains why. It was sort of a way to bait out the dead hard, so that way the Demogorgon do not have to deal with that. Doesn't everybody love dead hard? You know what I'm saying?
That's 2 hooks already for the demo, so they can't allow more than 3 more hooks.
All right, and here we go. We're gonna go after the Alessa. Okay, uses the lunge to actually stop the hook from happening and actually have the Nancy get away from the hook. We love to see it.
Indeed.
Okay.
Ooh, nice hit there. Let's see if he does the lunge from the high ground. Oh, not close.
But it works out because that as exactly what you want as a killer. Get close enough, you can get a hit in. And there you go.
Yep, and that's gonna be 3 hooks for him already. Oh, that glitch is still in the game, huh? So let's see here, he's gonna put a teleporter down. He's gonna teleport. I mean, they got the heals up except on the Lori. I mean, the Cheryl, I'm sorry. Cheryl's not healed up yet. She'll go down.
Yup. And here we go. We're gonna go ahead and place that hook happening right now. That is a very weird angle as far as like getting it glitched. It happens though. Alright, opens another portal.
Yeah, looks like that's going to be hook number 4 for SK Gaming. So all they need to do is get 1 more hook, and they've at least secured a tie. 2 more gives them the win.
Yep. Now, I really like that they placed a portal actually in the house, because this is ease of access. This is actually a main gen that you don't want to risk losing, and of course, with that status of being sort of quiet and not many can actually hear your heartbeat, it helps quite a bit. And it looks like we're going to be going after, I want to say it's the Quentin. I think it's the Quentin.
Yeah, when well, that's Leon. But when he comes out of his teleporter, he's undetectable for the first, I want to say it's like 3 or 4 seconds or something like that. So you won't hear his heartbeat. So it's putting it in the house like that, they won't know that he's coming for that gen for the first couple seconds.
Absolutely. All right, and he's gonna use the lunge to hop onto this hill. Again, another thing too is the aerial movement that you can see working out in his favor.
Yeah, he's definitely wanting to basically teleport to the house, even if the gen's not being worked on. Scout out someone and then do the giant leap from the high ground.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that is going to be another gen that has been popped, I think, actually.
Yep, looks like it. And another, is that another one right there? Looks like it.
Definitely, I think it is. Unless it's being explosive. I think the first one we saw was that it got exploded, and then that one was an actual gen that was done. But either way, we're going to be seeing 1 gen left.
Yep, looks like, and then they got the 5th hook there, so I think the tie's been secured no matter what. Can they get the last hook to get the win, however?
Yeah, this is going to be crucial for SK Gaming. You know, we mentioned this before, probably we wouldn't have to be worrying about a tie, right? If they, you know, focused more on just leaving the build and actually securing...
Yeah, if they left the build, they would have secured their victory already.
Mm-hmm. All right, trying to locate the Alessa now. Again, they just need that 1 more hook to make it clean. I think if they can sacrifice too is also a good thing to do as well. It does look like something was popped off over there.
I think maybe they blew up the gen over there. I mean, they are all healing up right now. Oh, he really thinks that the Cheryl is still over here, or whoever it was, Nancy. So he's gonna teleport. Let's see where he goes. Probably to the middle so he can look for a vantage point. Yep.
Yep, there it is. And there is the Alessa again, trying to go ahead and go run after her. I think there was another notification that happened as well, so they're probably gonna check out what happened there. Let's see if someone was working on this gen, and it was a person that is injured right now. This is gonna be the Nancy.
Gen popped, so all gens are done, but this is going to be another hook onto the Nancy. Oh, I don't know. It's 21-15. This is going to be close because I believe they get... Oh, this is... Yeah, I believe if they let anyone... Oh, this is so close. That's 22-15. This is insane right now.
Yep, this is definitely quite a bit of a scary situation. Okay, gonna go after the Quentin, see if they can get the unhook. This might be scary. Okay, Leon's gonna try to body block. So is the Cheryl or the Alessa as well. See if they're gonna use a lunge to kind of grab whatever they can. They are not actually, and of course, a little bit of some BM to seal the deal. And this is gonna put them at what?
18. That was 18 for them at the end of that round, so it was 16-5. So they have 23 for Dwight's one locker. SK Gaming, do they only have 22? I think so.
I think. Oh my goodness!
Oh no!
By 1 point. Can we? Okay, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. We
As
talk.
you know,
wait. As we get confirmation, I do want to mention this is something that we talked about when we were seeing what was happening in that first match, right? So we saw 4 Dwights in one locker sincerely, actually, call off chases, right? They hopped off and, they didn't focus up and whatever. And then, of course, we had this team, right? As they're surviving, they end up going or trying to go back for the bill, and that was their crucial mistake, right? And we were talking about it, how sometimes these teams, they think that they are sitting comfortably, and then by the time they get into that next stage or that next phase of the match, they are blown away and they come out on the losing end. And guess what happened? 4 Dwights and 1 locker chose out that they are better at surviving than they are at killing, and guaranteed a 4-man escape that helped them win by 1 point.
Indeed, and it looks like with that, as we get confirmation and set up for, I believe we'll be heading to the semifinals next. We're going to take a short break here. We appreciate you guys for tuning in to the License to Kill event. We will be back shortly. Appreciate it, you guys. All right, guys, welcome back to this presentation of the License to Kill event. I'm 2Tryhard Ray. I'm here joined with Saki Sakura for your casters, and we are going into the first semifinals matchup of this tournament, and we are going to go again. We're going to see Vama versus Resurrection.
Hey, let's go!
We've seen both these teams on stream already. We saw Vama, who had the very good Freddy, and they took out I can't remember the name of the team at this. Oh, the Totem Rushers, or I believe who they got rid of. And then we saw Resurrection take out our champions from last tournament, Eternity. So we'll have to see what happens here in this first semifinals match. We have a demo.
Again with the demo, and we're actually going straight into a chase right now. We're going to be chasing after the new Nancy, I think it is.
Keep in mind, Resurrection is playing Killer first, and we are on Suffocation Pit, if you guys haven't determined that already. So the problem with Suffocation Pit, however, especially with Corrupt being up, it is very, very easy to 3-gen yourself on this map.
Yes, it is. And Corrupt Intervention is going to be up quite a bit of time. This is also something that we can also judge too, as to if there's a ruin on the board right now or not.
Indeed, we'll have to see. Oh, they got a gen popped already. That's going to be 2 for Vama already.
Right.
And, the Nancy got the window. It looked like he wanted to lunge there, but he wasn't going to make it because of the window.
Yeah.
She's playing this palette very nicely here.
Absolutely. The other thing too about this map is the loops in the main house are pretty strong for Survivor. If you're not ahead of the game and kind of seeing where exactly the Survivor's gonna land on, it's gonna count. And that lunge though,
Yeah, that was a nice hit there by the demo. Gonna get one person down already. And he's gonna get the hook. And that's the second gen push popped. So that's two gens on the side of Vama for 1 hook on Resurrection. And I believe Vama will say, we'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely. It does appear that most of the gens are on the other side of the map, whereas most of the gens that were under corrupt were around the main building. So again, like you mentioned before, it's very easy to 3 gen with corrupt in play. We do have 2 gens on this side though that are looking like they have not been touched.
I mean, what they
So
need to do at this point is the 3 gens on this mine side are not corrupted anymore. They have to make sure they get one of these gens over here, because then they have 2 on the other side they can just do.
yeah, absolutely. I also think probably doing the one that's like sort of in the crossroads in the middle is probably the best option for them as a survivor. Why? Because at least then you don't have a gen that's closest to each other, whereas it's a little farther apart. But it looks like something popped off here, giving some notion.
Yeah, the unhook happened, so looks like he's gonna play this here. Oh, nice hit. And that's gonna be a second hook onto this survivor. Oh, 2 more gens popped while we were talking and watching this chase. So I don't know if they put themselves in a 3 gen and like all the gens on the other side popped. Looks like
It looks like this is a 3 gen. That is so dangerous as a survivor because you are giving the opportunity for the killer to just strictly monitor and draw out the games longer. It's actually also too no reason for the killer to even go on the other side because the gens are so closest to each other here.
Massive 3 gen right here. This is a huge mistake on the side of Vama, and he can just tunnel the Nancy out of this game right now. It's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The Quentin's trying to body block, but I mean, I guess that gives the Nancy more space, but
yeah, I mean, when it comes to the tunneling, I think if he does go to do this chase or commits to it, I probably wouldn't be too in agreement because it's going to take a little bit. Plus, trying to get time back to the other side is also a thing. Again, you don't want to leave those 3 gens. At this point, you being on the side is going to be a pretty
hit taken by Quentin. That was nice there. I mean, you have to keep in mind, Nancy is playing this so smart right now. She took him to the other side, letting the other 2 survive. And there you go. They got the gen pop. She took him to the other side so they could go work. And there it goes. And now that's their notification that Noed is in play. We have a Noed gamer here.
Well, wait, was that a regular special attack lunge? Or was that just a regular? Because so sorry about that.
Looked like a regular hit to me. I'm not sure though.
Okay, because if it was, never mind. Doesn't even matter.
Yep. And that's gonna be it. 16-4.
Okay, so that play was really strong from the Nancy. And this is what we were talking about. It's okay to risk that death, especially at such a good value that the Nancy put it as, right? She made sure that she took the Demogorgon all the way to the other side of the map to give no chance for the patrolling of the gens to happen. They knew that Resurrection was going to commit to the commit to the chase because they needed the kill. And then not only that, she looped long enough that as soon as the gens happened, she would have been able to get placed on the hook and fully get sacrificed. In addition to that, they also had enough time to go to the gate that was nearest on that side. So again, really smart play from the Nancy.
In my opinion, there were 2 big plays in that. So one was the Nancy realizing, I'm going to die anyway. Let me take this demo all the way to the other side of the map so my team can just break this 3 gen. It was a horrible 3 gen. Like, that could have been really bad for them. Not only that, but while the Nancy was looping, she almost went down way earlier, but the Quentin came in and took a hit. That was big play right there by the Quentin. Bought the Nancy so much more time to keep looping while they finished the gen and opened the door.
Yeah. It was a bit of a sort of like error, you could say, when they did all the gens on the other side, but they recuperated very well.
Indeed, that was a very impressive round there by Vama. Showed how smart their survivors were, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we're gonna go ahead and switch over these 2 killers. These 2 teams. And see if Resurrection can make this comeback happen. Like we mentioned before, again, it's pretty important that you are willing to let that sacrifice or that hook go. You don't want to, waste time, right, in trying to not get someone from that hook, and then you also lose an opportunity too, where those that at that point or those 2 points that you lost, you could always recuperate them as a killer.
Yeah, it's the opposite of what happened with I can't even think of their name, from SK Gaming from last round, where they spent way too much time trying to, rescue the bill and get out. If they all would have just gotten out at that point, I believe they would have tied. Yeah, they would have tied, and they would have had to redo that round. So I mean, like, sometimes you just gotta let the person die, get out, and prevent as many points as possible.
Absolutely, and I love what I'm seeing here. These players are just as eager to play. They're in this lobby already, ready to go, equipping all of their perks and their matchups. It looks like we're gonna get Jill and Leon together. Okay, I like it. I like it. And then we do need to see the Nia switch over, so she's gonna become Cheryl now.
Indeed. I mean, like I said, very impressive by Vama. Their survivors are looking tip-top shape right now. As I said, Vama's known for how flexible of a killer they have. So, I mean, we saw him play Freddy in the last time we saw him. So we'll have to see what he decides to play this time.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a chance that we could probably see the Nemesis, right? There'd be a chance that we could see Pyramid Head.
My fingers, because there's a Jill and a Leon in this game. Nemesis lore, I want it. Let's go.
That's funny.
And
oh no, they switched. I'm sad.
Who switched? I didn't see.
Oh, my bad. I was looking at the wrong screen. I'm so sorry. My apologies, everyone. I was looking at the detective tab that was there before. It happens. I'm sorry.
I get you. Oops.
Alright, let's see what we got. Let's see what these Resurrection can do to make up for this huge deficit that they have as far as in points. Let's see if their survivor team is a stronger one than Bama was. Again, it's like you mentioned before, Bama has a really good flexible killer. It's one of the things that makes them very notable when it comes to these tournaments.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens here. But for any of you guys just joining us now, we appreciate you guys tuning into this License to Kill event. As the title would state, you're only allowed to play licensed killers and licensed survivors. So as we see that we have licensed survivors on the screen, we have Jill, we have Leon, we had Nancy, and I did not get to see who that last one was before the screen went away. But the survivors you're allowed to play are Bill, Quentin, Lori, Detective Tap, Nancy, Steve, Ash, Cheryl, Jill, and Leon. And for the killers that we could possibly see going into this round, for Vama, we could see Freddy, Pig, Pyramid Head, Demo, Michael, Ghostface, Nemesis, or the Cannibal, and or Bubba. So we'll have to see how these rounds go. And they all must use a licensed survivor perk, survivors and killers, and they will lose points if they do not. So as this game gets ready to start, we'll have to check and see what's happening here.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen some interesting builds tonight as far as using that one license perk in comparison to the rest of the perks that are in this game. We've seen a pretty common one too in Killer. It's interesting because you think that with like all of this like sort of limitations, there would be more of a different build, right, in these, but a lot of people tend to kind of like think the same as far as when it comes to competitive, what works out for them the best.
It looks like Vama's going to keep their Freddy. I mean, it did them well last time.
Yeah, once you're playing for this prize pool, you don't want to switch up. And we're already getting a hit off the Nancy right off the bat. That was good.
Yeah, nice hit there. I mean, as we've stated in previous matches, Freddy has one of the longest lunges in the game. So if he can just get close enough, his lunge can really come in handy here. It looks like he's running Corrupt here. We'll have to see what perks he's running because
Wasn't Bama the one that
yes.
did that?
Yeah,
Okay.
Vama is the one who did not run a licensed perk in the first game, so we'll have to see if they changed that or not.
I think we're waiting on confirmation here in regards to that. It'd be okay. Mindbreaker. I was gonna say. All right, so they do have a Demogorgon perk. They learned their lesson the last time, so we're not gonna risk losing those 4 points today.
Indeed. If they want to win this whole thing, they got to make sure they're playing by the rules. They got the hit on the Jill. She's probably going to throw the pallet. Really? No pallet? Oh, she did. Okay. Let's see if she makes it. Nope, she's not going to make it because of that. Nice snare there by the Freddy. And I believe this will be his first hook. Yep. And one gen has popped on the side of Resurrected, so... the Freddy's in a decent spot. 1 for 1. That's not bad.
Yeah, and the gens in this particular match are a little more spaced out properly, so it's not looking too bad. I think this gen also got popped as well, but the Tinkerer was active, so they're gonna be able to at least find the survivors just getting off the gen right now. I think we're trying to chase after the Cheryl at the moment.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what Tinkerer is, basically once a gen hits 70% like completion, the killer gets notified. So like for Freddy, he could just teleport to the gen and get them off of it, and then he has Ruin to go along with it, so he just gets free regression. So it's a very powerful perk on killers who have lots of mobility.
Absolutely, and then
there
Nancy's
goes the
gonna go
Nancy.
down. Yep.
He looks like he's gonna slug and continue for the Leon, I believe.
Oh,
she's going to Leon.
Yep. Okay, we
She
got
goes
another.
down.
No, I was gonna say you're playing a dangerous game right now. If you're gonna try to go.
That was borrowed time play. You don't want to do that. Oh, and they get the pickup too. Very nicely done. And that's a very good door to destroy there. It's gonna help them with loops later on, if they ever loop here.
I love the slide on the door. It's like slide and then pop. Like
Yeah.
it's very reminiscent. All right, let's see.
Oh, nice window make for the Jill. Yeah, he's just gonna give up on that chase. I probably would have too. That was a pop, I believe. That was not a Tinkerer proc. The Tinkerer procs are a lot more. Oh, and looks like that just went off. Looks like he hit the gen. So it looks like he had pop based on that hit that I saw.
Yeah, so we do, of course, have Pop Goes the Weasel right now, as well as Tinker. What an interesting set of perks. Sort of a way to monitor the situation that's happening right now, right? Okay, tries to mind game off of the loop, doesn't fall for it. It's gonna go ahead and break that pallet. I agree with it. If you're gonna end up in another loop anyways, as
What is she doing? She's throwing. What was that? I would have just gotten away.
Yup, that was actually not a good play there for the Jill. Trying to abuse the window there. It's gonna go around, bamboozle in effect too, so that window's no longer viable. Gonna go ahead and lunge, and that's actually gonna take it.
That was not bamboozle, by the way. That was the Jill having gone through that window 3 times.
Yep.
So she won't be able to go through the gen. And looks like he's gonna hook in basement. Very good basement on this map too.
Yup.
And while he got the down, they popped another gen. So I believe that's 3 gens popped for Resurrected.
All right.
So let's see how this goes. He's got a blood trail he's following right now. Or I mean, it's not a blood trail. It's like a step trail almost. Are they gonna go for the save? Oh, they are.
They are, and this might be a little scary.
Yeah, this could be a little scary.
Yeah, borrowed time.
He's going
play
for the
right
borrowed
now.
time play, but then he can go for both of them now. I don't know how they're gonna play this. Oh.
Ooh, this is not looking too good right now. The Cheryl being able to body block, but the Jill still needs to mend herself.
10 pops, however, that's good for Resurrected. Are they all just gonna body block for each other at this point?
They might have to actually. It would be the only way that they'll be able to avoid getting downed at this point. It does look like the Jill is still trying to mend herself. Unfortunately, she's gonna throw down that pallet. It's gonna cut off the chase. Probably just gonna go for, I think, the Quentin. No, sorry. Yeah, the Leon instead. It's gonna be the Leon.
Oh, he put the snare a little too far away from the pallet, so he was able to throw it, unfortunately. I guess he's not going to play the pallet here. I would have probably played it more if I was him. Oh, he doubled back through the window. He can only go through that window one more time, however, since he went twice.
Alright, it's gonna get a hit off of the Leon. I think we're gonna see a commitment right now, perhaps. It's a little bit
They're
of...
really going for body blocks. Holy crap.
Yeah, they really, really are, actually. Alright, gonna try to cut over. Gonna go back on the Leon right now. Really nice way to cut off the chase and prevent the body block. Goes for the lunge on that pallet. Very good stuff. Yeah.
Nicely done. Yeah, I'd just be getting hooks if I was him. It's getting dangerously close to a very close game here. So.
Yeah.
He's got to make sure he gets a kill. I think that's his way to win here. He's got to ensure he gets a kill. Nice pop hit there. Oh, but there's another proc for Tinkerer onto that gen. Oh, they are a 3-gen. I didn't even realize that until now. This is a pretty big 3-gen here.
Alright, goes ahead and hits the Jill. We're gonna start the chase once again. That is gonna be 3 people injured right now. Actually has 2 people he can potentially chase. 3 people he can potentially chase right now. No.
Jill's dead on hook, so he wants the Jill, I believe.
Yeah.
And he's gonna get her. Very nicely done there. So he should get the kill here. I believe Jill's on final hook. I believe. We'll have to see here.
Yep.
Yes, she was. That's 22, and they got all gens done. So we'll have to see. It's actually over. They're at 14 now, so the max points they can get is 20. That kill there just ended the game.
Yep. I think they're gonna try to see if they can catch someone on the gate as well, which is fine. Again, if someone has Unbreakable, it's like since the game potentially with points is already over, it's gonna be a little bit pointless to try to not accept the fate at this point. But sometimes you want to get those points and you want to try to seal the deal, right? So.
He looks like he's gonna go for the Leon, try and stop him from even getting the pickup on the whoever the other one was. I think it was.
It was the Jill. Sorry, no, it was so Jill went away already. It would be the Cheryl. So the Cheryl already knocked down.
So all there's left is Nancy. I wonder if she just escapes at this point. Looked like she was working on the door over there.
Yeah. There goes another hook.
Oh, Unbreakable.
Leon with the Unbreakable. Okay.
Oh, is he really just going to continue to play this loop?
I mean, it's not a bad choice if you have snares, because it just means that you can literally make this type of play and catch them off guard. I'm not sure if he's gonna go for the Nancy. I mean, again, this is technically a secure, victory for Vama. So this is more of like for bragging points, if anything. But Resurrected is gonna at least get a Nancy out for sure.
Yep. So that'll be 16 for Resurrected, but Vama's gonna take this home.
Yep.
Congratulations to Vama for making it to the finals. As he just has to go hook this Leon and it's all over. And that's going to be it. That's another 3 points for Vama. So I believe that is going to be a final score of 28-16. Congratulations again to Vama for making the finals of the License to Kill event.
Let's go.
Very nicely done by the Freddy of Vama. So what did you think of that game?
So I'm not surprised in Mama. I'm honestly, it was getting a little bit close, right? But as soon as the hooks were being placed, it really just came down to securing the kills and actually getting it done. So
yeah, I think at that point, Resurrected knew they needed all four of them to get out if they wanted to win. So they were trying so hard for body blocks, and it just wasn't going to happen.
No, it wasn't going to happen. Bama did a really good job also staying committed to some of the chases. Like, yes, they did deviate away from certain like certain chases, but it worked out because they were able to recuperate in that as well. Also gens too. Definitely in that last portion of the game, you know, it gets a little scary once they do all the gens, but if you're pretty confident in your killing ability and your game sense, you got it.
Indeed. So for this next matchup, the second match of the semifinals, we're going to have Orlock, who we have not seen on the stream yet. I have casted for them in the last tournament. They're going to go against 4 Dwights, 1 Locker, who we just saw in that exciting 1-point eked out victory over SK Gaming.
Yep. That's actually probably, I think, one of the biggest upsets I've ever seen, right? We were literally talking about how 4 Dwights and 1 Locker were playing very non-committal, and then we had that particular match just sort of like go in their favor because the other team did not actually follow up with their points. They didn't allow the sacrifice to happen. Instead, they try to play around and get as greedy as much as possible. So definitely, I'm curious if Orlock is going to repeat the same mistake. I'm hoping that that's not the case. Hopefully, it's a little bit better, a little bit cleaner, but we'll definitely see.
Indeed. So Orlock will be playing Killer first. The interesting thing is, since this is a License to Kill event, when I had watched them, when I had casted for the last tournament, what I saw them mostly run was Doctor and Huntress. So I don't know what they're going to run with this License to Kill event. We'll have to see because we haven't seen them on stream yet, so it should be interesting to see here. And like we said, we saw 4 Dwights, 1 Locker. They ran the Freddy, and he struggled, but the demo on the other side of SK Gaming struggled even more.
Yes. Yes, it did. It looks like also the map that we're heading towards is also to the Disturbed Ward as well.
Oh, Kronos, whatever it's called, yeah. The Crotus, whatever.
Crotus Pen.
Yeah, Crotus Pen. Thank you. That's what it's called. Thank you. So the variation will be the one that's got like the big 2-story, like asylum looking kind of building in the middle. I believe that's what Disturbed Ward is.
Yeah. Yep.
So this should be very interesting. I believe this is the first time I have seen this map on stream, so I'm very excited to see this.
Yes, I don't think we got to see the newest part of the map. I think when we've seen at least the ones that the tournaments that I casted, right? We've only seen Disturbed Ward maybe like once, if ever. So this is going to be an interesting thing to see how these competitors are going to play around.
Indeed. I mean, I feel like in general this map is pretty fair both sides. Like, I don't think it's not like Ormond where survivors are favored, or it's not like Dead Dog where you kind of feel like the killers have more of an advantage, or like the I can't even think of what it's called, the asylum map, like the actual indoor asylum map where you feel like the killers have the advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. So
it's pretty even.
Yeah, it's a pretty even matchup, you could say. Definitely. We'll see. Hopefully these players are getting into their lobbies right now. Such a great job that Emma did, as well as I believe it was Resurrection that they were fighting. and they just came in, swapped around. It was really easy, smooth, nice process. So hopefully this is going to be the same process as well. And again, this is semi-finals. So the winner of this will be moving on to finals to face off against Vama.
Yes, this should be very exciting. I know Orlok's a very good team. Orlok made it to the semifinals of the last tournament before losing to Eternity. So we should be in for quite a match here. And whoever moves on should give Vama quite a run in the finals.
Yep. Needless to say, it's going to be a pretty hype. These last two matches are going to be pretty hype, pretty epic. I'm going to be excited. So let's go. Let's do it. We're just waiting again on the players, everyone. Again, welcome to Console Gaming League's Dead by Daylight tournaments, licensed to kill. Be sure to check out CGL as well as Kunoichi all on their socials. They're an amazing group. They're doing plenty of events and giving plenty of opportunities, and you don't want to miss out. With that being said, though, everyone's here. We're just gonna get them ready. So let's check them out. Let's look at their cosmetics and their characters here.
We have a Quentin, we got a Nancy, we got a Leon, and hold on, I can't see who that is. My screen's really blurry. Is that a Cheryl alternate outfit? I can't tell.
Yeah, so it's Alessa, Leon, Quentin, and Nancy.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, we should be in for quite a match. I believe Orlok is playing Killer first. Let me go confirm that real quick. Yep, Orlok is playing Killer first. So it'll be interesting to see. It's the last team we haven't really seen play Killer. So this should be quite interesting to see if they're gonna be a Freddy runner and we're gonna see Freddy versus another Freddy. You'll have to see here.
Yeah. Definitely have to see what's going to be happening right now, but I have a good feeling. I have a good feeling, you know.
Indeed.
And of course, I love seeing Cheryl and Alessa, right? So, also, just for a heads up, everybody, Orlok will be killing first, like you mentioned, and 4 Dice 1 Locker will be the surviving team, which we saw that they're a very strong surviving team too. So,
indeed, their survivors definitely outshined their killer for sure. As we're just waiting for the red check marks, come on, everybody, red check mark it up. Let's go. So, do you tend to play killer more? Or do you tend to play survivor more?
So I personally play more killer. As far as like when I'm streaming or when I'm creating content, and then I usually play survivor with my boyfriend and his friends, where we basically survive. Funny story. So we were playing against I think it was the Legion, right? And Legion's not pretty common to be played, right? So we were playing, and he he got hit by the Legion's power, and you're supposed to kind of mend, right? Well, he didn't know that was a thing, despite being saved by borrowed time multiple times, and he never actually got to mend, so he fell down and costed us the game.
Oh man, feels bad.
Yeah. Oh, we never forgave him, but it's okay. It's okay.
Hashtag never forget.
Never forget. But no. I usually play killer. One, because of queue times. Two, because I'm definitely the type of person that when I stream, it's easier to talk to my chat more as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very true. So have to see the loading screens all the way, so we should be going straight into there here in a second. And we'll first check out the perks, see if everyone's running a licensed perk, and then let's see what the killer is.
Let's get it.
Like we said, we were on Disturbed Ward. This is the First time I've seen it live on stream before, so it should be fun. So we get the Unbreakable Decisive, not a big shock here. We got the Borrowed Time, nothing too crazy. Got the Medal of Man, nice, another Medal of Man.
Ooh, wow.
Oh yeah, because this was for Dwight's One Locker. We did see that happen last time. The Medal of Man runner. Alright, we got a Freddy. Looks like Orlok's a Freddy player as well.
Okay, we love to see it. We love to see it.
Indeed, and he's gonna get the hit here, yep. The lunge is just too great on Freddy. That was insane. I thought maybe the pallet might get thrown, but nope. And it down already.
Alrighty, and that looks to be... Who was the one that got down just recently? I think it was the... Quentin, right? There's a lot of Quentins, and I'm kind of surprised. I guess Quentin's a big favorite in these tournaments.
Rework.
Yeah, must be. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and chase after the Leon right now.
Indeed, he's already been hit once. I can already tell this Orlok Freddy is pretty good.
Yeah, those setting up the snares is a good choice, and God Pallet officially down and fully broken. Gonna go straight.
Indeed, and we have confirmed the use of a licensed perk from the killer, so we're all good that points wise for that. And he should get this pallet here.
No, it would have been too early. The best thing
Yeah.
to have done is just loop it back and then try again. And even then, it could have looked like it would have been a sort of a trade-off instead. So
He's gonna get this hook here, however. Interesting enough, he's not running Tinkerer because they popped a gen already and he never got notified. So interesting, because Tinker is such a good perk on Freddy.
yeah, the no heartbeat for when Tinkerer happens is a good way. It's a good notification. And also the good notification for Freddy. So yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and chase after the Cheryl right now.
That's a good pallet to get out of the way from the main building, though. So that's very good for the Freddy.
Yeah, also at one point I think they're gonna need to actually close down the door that's in this building as well, because that is also something that helps with the big loops. And then we're gonna go for the Nancy right now. Actually, no, we're actually gonna teleport out of there and try to go after the Leon.
Very nicely done there. Let's see what he decides to do here. There's a pallet. He's not even gonna play the pallet. Oh, the door's not open. Oh, he's kind of screwed here. Yep, he goes down. Yeah, you don't want that door open if you're the killer. That just... Oh, Decisive comes in. I had no idea that was still active. Really? So that entire time, he really did nothing. Wow. Because with the Decisive changes, if he goes and does anything, it goes away.
Yeah, and more than likely he didn't heal, and he didn't go for a gen. He didn't need, like... it's a good change because it definitely... forces the survivor to make a choice. But that will be a decisive strike that has been used up already. We're still gonna go ahead and rechase the Leon happening right now. Also not respecting too many pallets either at this point, and I kind of agree with it. You definitely don't want to be caught in some loops. All right.
Yeah, I think what he's doing is smart. Oh, the pallet thrown early again. Interesting.
Yeah, this one he's probably trying to catch the actual late swipe, but if you are not breaking that pallet, it is a bit of a loop that's happening here. So better to just
Break that
break
pallet,
it.
yeah. Gonna continue to pursue this Leon. Oh, very well played by him with the mind games on the window. Oh, he didn't take the window. Very interesting. He's gonna go down here. Oh, and we have confirmation that they have cleansed his ruin, so no more ruin in the game.
No more ruin, indeed. And I think we have 2 gens left on the board, if I'm not mistaken.
And they've done 3 gens so far, yep.
So we do have, I think, 3 hooks, my apologies, where, it has worked out in Orlok's favor, but at some point those trades started going against him, and Ford Dwight's One Locker is going to be going up ahead
Another
in some of
gen.
those points. Yep, there goes another gen.
Yeah, they need to hope they get the kill on this Leon is the problem. Nope. Oh, he got the hit on the Quentin. And their gens are pretty spread out in general, so... gens in general.
Haha, was that a pun?
Maybe. Oh, they got the unhook on the Leon. Yeah, if I was Freddy at this point, I'd be going after that Leon, because he already used decisive on him.
Yeah, and at that point the Leon is going to be a death, so it'll help out for sure. In terms of like securing a point, okay, the Cheryl instead gonna take it. I think we also want to keep in mind, right, that you know, body blocking has been a pretty big thing happening in tonight's tournament, where trying to protect each other has been a thing.
Indeed, he's gonna. Oh, I thought he might be trying to go for the pallet, but unless he has balance, he does not. He's gonna go down. Yeah, and that's gonna be a death, so that's gonna be 5 points for Orlok once he gets his hook.
Yep.
Already putting his team in a good spot. To see if he can secure another kill, he's gonna be in a very good spot.
Yeah.
Nancy looks like she had sprint burst.
Yeah, hopefully the other two survivors are doing their gens as well. Definitely don't want to stop. And there goes the Cheryl. She's gonna get hit. Just as we were talking about, she was on a gen, but now no longer on it. I'm not too sure how much of that gen progress was happening, but
yeah, it looks like she's probably gonna go down here. There's no pallets. Yep, and then she goes down.
yeah. That
I'm actually
earlier,
surprised they haven't popped another gen yet, to be honest.
there's technically they're really spread out actually, and the Nancy was not on a gen when she was first found. The only person that we saw as of right now was the Alessa or the Cheryl, and now there goes the gen. And it might look too, with the speed boost, we might have a no-ed on the field.
We might. Let's see here. He's full health.
And let's feed the line.
He goes down. It's a no-ed gamer.
There you go. And look at
unhook, however.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to start going for doors. I mean, the fact that they went for the unhook is good for him. That means they haven't touched the doors yet.
Yes, yes, indeed. What if he had blood warning? Wouldn't that been?
The door just opened, so it wouldn't matter at this point. Question is, are they going to leave him to die? Yeah. That's the big question.
I mean, it's no ed. You're running a huge risk if you're trying to go for someone even with no ed. But it looks like it was actually Deliverance that helped the Alessa leave. So it wasn't even an actual unhook. Deliverance helped with that. All right, Orlok. 9-14 against Ford Dwight's One Locker. Ford Dwight's One Locker going to be up in this game as they go for Survivor. I kind of like that they started off as a Survivor. I'm just really hoping that their killer kind of learned the lesson the last time, and they tried to make sure that they can secure those kills in this next game.
Indeed, it's 14-9. I mean, not bad by the Orlok killer. Got 9. He got 2 kills at least, so that already puts your survivors in a win condition. Like, we just got to make sure we get 3 out. We can leave 1.
Yeah.
So, Orlok has a very good win condition here to make it to the finals to go play Vama.
Yep, absolutely, and hopefully we can get this switch going over too as well. That was a pretty good performance from Orlok. I think the biggest thing that comes to mind, honestly, though, is the gens. They were pretty spaced out pretty well. That Ford Dwight's was able to commit to them and not worry too much about them. The Noah definitely helped a lot. Those last 2 hooks definitely helped. In securing a better advantage than not being able to get them. So
Indeed. So we just got to get the lobbies flip-flopped. Got to get the new survivors in, and then the new killer in. And then we'll get right back into the match. Like we said, the winner of this match is going to go on to the finals and play Vama. All right, so as we said, this event is called the License to Kill event. So as you see on the screen, it's only licensed killers and licensed survivors only. Obviously, it's happening today. The prize pool is $250 to the winning team, or I think it's 200 to the winning team, 50 to the second place team. Teams of 4 or 5. There was a max of 16 teams, I believe. Today we had 10 teams competing, and it's for PlayStation, PC, and Xbox. And of course, we're live here on twitch.tv/CGL1. As we said, the list of survivors that can be played are as follows: Bill, Quentin, Lori, Detective Tap, Nancy, Steve, Ash, Cheryl, Jill, and Leon. And as the survivors, you have to play one of them. You can't run more than 2 perks on 2 different people, so only 2 people can run borrowed time, 3 people cannot. And they each must be playing all different survivors, but the legendary and legacy skins actually do matter. They count as separate characters, like Claire, for example, is separate from Jill. So some of the perks we've been seeing a lot for the licensed perks are like borrowed time and unbreakable, decisive. We've seen some counterforce, and we've seen some repressed alliance. And then for the killers, you can play Freddy, Pig, Pyramid Head, Demogorgon, Michael, Ghostface, Nemesis, and the Cannibal and/or Bubba. So you can only play those killers, and some of the licensed perks we've been seeing. The main one I've seen the most time is Lethal Pursuer from the Nemesis, but we've also seen Mindbreaker from Demo, as well as, actually, I think those are the main 2 we've seen. We saw Thrilling Tremors once, but those are the main ones we've been seeing. Yeah, that's pretty much the event right there that's going on right now.
It's a pretty good event tonight, though. I am enjoying a lot. I really like this idea, right? Because we always like to think of how when we talk about Dead by Daylight, what killer, what new survivor can come into the game, right? And for example, we've had the devs themselves say, "Hey, this is technically like a Hall of Fame of horror." So we have everybody you would consider iconic and still growing. So it's definitely a cool thing to see.
And I even saw online on YouTube a Dead by Daylight concept for Five Nights at Freddy's to be added to the game, which I thought that was kind of funny and interesting. Because that's another horror series that, I mean, I don't know how you would add that to the game, but it'd be interesting.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, it's I hope to see more variety in the future. Usually when we see these tournaments, obviously there's a competitive perspective to them. I'm really surprised that we've gotten to see Demogorgon as much as we got to today. Again, usually not many people are willing to play beyond like the Freddy and beyond, just that licensed killer, right? Because from the past, we've seen that Freddy is one of the strongest ones out of all of them, and even used in normal competitive play. Imagine an entire tournament dedicated to basically his trademark, right? And dedicated to the license.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have our next tournament set up yet, but I know some of the ideas we've thrown around is like doing like a tournament setting where you only play like low tier killers. So like you come up with a list of the killers who are low tier and aren't ever played in competitive. And so like for example, Freddy wouldn't be in that category. So like you would just have a group of like the killers that have never played, like Plague or Ghostface, Legion, that kind of stuff. And it would be a tournament just based around them, which I think would be really fun. It would definitely give us a lot more variety.
Yeah, For sure, for sure. Definitely can't wait to see. Also too, if there's still this match, and then the next match, we still have a chance to see if we can get Nemesis. We've seen a lot of Jills and Leons today, which is awesome because I know that was such a ever since Dead by Daylight was a thing. They've always said, "Oh, bring Resident Evil," and we actually got to see, you know, that happen, and we see people taking full advantage of it today. So
And I'll be honest, I don't see it happening. Vama has not like wavered away from their Freddy. And I mean, if we see 4 Dwights, 1 Locker play Freddy again, we know they're not going to waver from it. So really, it's just, is Orlock going to stick to Freddy if they make finals or not? But I mean, I can pretty much see it's probably going to be a Freddy v Freddy in the finals.
alrighty, so we do have everyone right now inside the lobby. Let's go ahead and check them out and see how they're doing. Let's see what kind of characters they're going to be picking out today, and go from there.
Indeed.
Oh, and look, they're already ready. Look at them.
Looks like they're just waiting on the killer ready.
Yep, it looks like also too we're gonna see our first 2 characters that are not necessarily the same. We're gonna actually see their legacy items being used. So we have Cheryl and Alessa. This is kind of lore-ish because we do have Alessa and we do have Cheryl, who are technically, you know, always at odds with each other, especially in Silent Hill 3.
Indeed, indeed. I don't know. We'll have to see what. I don't know if 4 Dwights, 1 Locker Killer will change it up at all, since their Freddy didn't do so great in the last round. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, one thing that I definitely want to stress for 4 Dwights, 1 Locker, they definitely need to be able to secure their kills. They cannot be hunting and chasing as much as they were doing before, where they would stop a chase and start another chase. It's going to be quite detrimental for their lead that they have right now.
All right, here we go. Second round of the semifinal match. Orlock will be playing Survivors, and we will be seeing what the 4 Dwights, 1 Locker Killer is going to do here.
Yeah, let's see. So, well, what killers do you mainly play when you play Killer? So for me, I'm usually playing Spirit, Pyramid Head, Trickster, or the Pig.
Does Pyramid Head really surprise me? No.
I mean, just look at my emote. Look at this hunk of an emote.
And I mean, like, at the same time too, I feel like, you know, I feel like Trickster's not that surprising either. You know, he's like the pretty boy of Dead by Daylight at this point. But we'll have to see what's going on here for this first round matchup. Should be going into this matchup here. It's almost loaded. I mean, the amount of time is worrying me a little bit, but we'll have to see. So, what do you think? What are your predictions for this? You think Orlock takes it, or you think the Killer comes through?
I think 4 Dwights, 1 Locker can do it.
So they had the decisive there. They have Detective's Hunch. It's the first time we've seen it today. There's the borrowed time on that player. There's the borrowed time on the other player. Alrighty. Now we'll only have to just wait for confirmation on what the killer's playing, so we know we're all good for license perk wise. Oh, looks like we're going. 4 Dwights, 1 Locker is going with the Freddy again.
Yep, it does seem we are gonna get that Freddy. We're gonna go after the Nancy right now.
Yeah, it looks like it. I don't know if she's gonna reach a pallet in time.
No.
No.
Okay, that was a big lunge there.
Yeah, big lunge. Freddy lunge strong. She's, I think, oh no, she's not in a dead zone. Okay, there was another pallet over here. That's good. He throws it. She's just trying to buy her team as much time as possible to get gens done. As long as they're all working on separate gens, this should look really good. He's gonna teleport away. Probably have the right call.
Yep. Again, remember, we don't want to see this happen too often right now for 4 Dwights, 1 Locker, because this is literally what was happening in their earlier game. But that pallet, crucial in this building, it is now going to go down.
Yeah, and it looks like we do have confirmation they were running a licensed perk, so we're good there. Nice hit there onto the Cheryl. We'll have to see. I mean, it looks like he's just. I mean, okay, the Cheryl's still there, but it looked like the hit was that wasn't repressed, was it? I don't think it was. He's gonna get a hit on. It looked like repressed, but I can't say for sure.
It looks like corrupt intervention is still being played right now, so it's still working pretty well for them. Okay. And we're just trying to find, I think they were trying to find one of the either Cheryl or Alyssa, whoever is injured right now. Looks like this is the Nancy, perhaps? See?
So they already have a gen popped on the side of Orlock, it looks like. So, like, I mean, he doesn't have any gens yet. He's still doing like this weird hit and run tactic. Like, it's not working for him.
Yeah. And another thing too is the survivors right now, they now don't have to deal with corrupt intervention, which was technically one of the only things that was actually stopping them from doing the gens. So we're gonna see what happens here. We're gonna go after the Alessa again. It looks like all three survivors were here at the Killer Shack. Is he going to actually deviate though? Is the question.
I think they were healing and resetting, but like, I don't know what he's doing here.
Yeah, this is what we were saying. That okay, dead hard, and the lunge is not gonna.
Nice, got pallets down though, so. To see here, she makes the window. That's good. Hopefully, she can find another pallet. Oh, yep, she does make another pallet. That's good. Yeah, she's just continuing to buy and stall time. I mean, I'm just surprised they've only gotten one gen done this time on the side of Orlock. So he's gonna teleport. He's not even gonna commit to it. He's gonna try and stop the gen progress, which I mean, fair shout. But I mean, if they can just get ruin popped, then this is gonna be really bad.
Yeah. Again, with corrupt intervention off of the board, we should start seeing some gens pop in the second.
He missed twice.
Ooh, this is not looking too good.
He might have lost her too.
We do also want to make the audience aware that Ruin is now gone. So that was another perk that was preventing them from finishing gens. And there you go. There goes one gen. We might see another one pop up pretty soon.
Indeed. I mean, they've already almost closed the gap on the scoring right now. No hooks are on the board. This is looking rough for 4 Dwights, 1 Locker.
Yeah, Orlock already passing 4 Dwights, 1 Locker by 1 point. So this is what we were talking about earlier. If you're not on top of these hooks, it's gonna be Orlock can make it happen. They sat pretty comfy and literally just depended on their survivor team to finish it. So
I believe in Orlock. They got this. And the looping has been very well done by Orlock. I mean, at the same time, Freddy's not really committing to one survivor most of the time. I mean, the few times he has been trying, the looping has actually been pretty good. So
yeah.
We'll have to.
Yeah, this is also a testament too of like, hey, you know, you gotta be the better looper. at one point. So if you're giving up that chase and you're not able to keep up with all the loops that the survivor is doing, you're definitely struggling right now. And this is kind of what we're seeing from Fort Dwight's one Walker.
She's in a dead zone right now. She's going to take a hit here.
Yep, and there we go.
And for any of the audience watching, if you don't know what a dead zone is, it means there's no pallets, there's no windows, like, you're just going to get a hit. That was very smart. He actually teleported to a gen by Killer Shack to get close the distance if possible. I mean, God Pallet's down, so that's not looking good for her. She's going to go down here.
Yeah.
But she did run to the corner of the map, so that was very smart by her.
Yeah, so but there is a hook right there, so
Gen pops though.
Yep, Gen does pop, and that's actually going to be the first point as a killer. And we're going to see Orlok now 17 over 15. Yeah, it's looking really not good right now. And then here we go. Looks like all the gens have been popped. Gates are going to be available. What we got here?
Yeah, they're just down to one gen, it looks like. Oh no, did they get the last gen? Oh, no,
so fun fact, we do have confirmation that Fort Dwight's one locker was running Noed. However, because all of the totems were cleansed, there is no Noed.
Unfortunate. And yeah, he's just gonna give up there. It's all over. Orlok's gonna win. I knew it. I believed in them.
Wow. And Fort Dwight's one locker going down and going home today as our third place winner, I think, right?
No, they wouldn't get third place. They would technically have to play the loser. They would have to play Resurrected.
Got you.
That's not happening.
Yeah,
but Orlok is going to take this victory. I believe it's 27-15 is the final score. So congratulations to Orlok. They will meet Vama in the finals.
Yep. And with that, Orlok 27-15. GG's to both teams. This last match is going to be hype. Let's see what happens, right?
It's going to be a Freddy v Freddy duel, most likely, between Vama and Orlok. So this should be quite the match to see for the finals.
I do want to say, I think this is going to be a matchup favorable for Vama, because we definitely saw that Vama has a stronger Freddy, able to solidify at least a 4-kill, right? And then also they also have a very strong survivor team. I think what favors Orlok is they too also have a strong surviving team as well, and they're willing to not take the risk either, which is something that Bama was pretty risky when it came down to their gameplay.
Oh, looks like for the finals match for Vama versus Orlok, we are going to Mother's Dwelling again. All right, this should be fun. Another big map for the killers to have to deal with, and Orlok will be playing killer first.
Alrighty. I think Vama might benefit a little bit more for being killer first, but that's fine. It works out. Because again, their surviving team is pretty strong, and their killer is very versatile, so that they can come out on top at the end. So, but yeah. So we're getting word on our backstage on what we are going to do here. I know we're just trying to get these next two teams back into the lobbies, so we can do that. But first, while we get that set up, we're going to go into a quick break. Don't go anywhere, Muse. We're going to be heading into grand finals right here on the CGL network.
All right, guys, welcome back to this presentation of the License to Kill event. We are here to present you guys with the finals of the tournament. It is going to be Orlok versus Vama, and after some discussions and some overrules by the teams, the map was re-rolled, and instead of Mother's Dwelling, they're going to Father Campbell's Chapel instead.
Yep, that's actually an interesting map. It was one of the ones that did get recently reworked. One of the ones that also was kind of encouraged for a rework as well. So this is going to be interesting to see. We did come from the other disturbed ward map. Originally it was going to be Mother's Dwelling, but I can understand the teams agreeing to re-roll it, as it's definitely going to be a better map than a bigger map, right? So definitely can't wait to see. Again, this is grand finals. This is going to be between Orlok and versus Vama. Or Orlok is going to be killing first, I believe.
For any of you guys just joining us, this is the License to Kill event. So we'll go, since this is finals, we'll go over the rules one more time. All killers must play licensed killers, and all survivors must play licensed survivors, as well as both sides must run a licensed perk on their build. So the list of survivors that you can play in this event is Bill, Quentin, Lori, Detective Tap, Nancy, Steve, Ash, Cheryl, and of course Jill and Leon. And some of the main perks, the highlights that we've been seeing for the licensed perks that are ran, we see Borrowed Time, we see Unbreakable, Decisive Strike, Detective's Hunch, and Counterforce have been the main totem things ran. We've seen Repressed a couple of times. And on the side of killers, you're able to run Freddy, Pig, Pyramid Head, Demogorgon, Michael, Ghostface, Nemesis, and Bubba. And the main ones we've seen today, we saw one team run Pyramid Head, we saw a couple teams run Demogorgon, but mostly we've been seeing Freddy's. And some of the licensed perks we've been seeing, mostly people have been using Lethal Pursuer, but we've seen a couple people run Mindbreaker, and we've seen one person run Thrilling Tremors. So we should be in for a good match here. Both these teams so far have been playing Freddy throughout their journey here to the finals, so we'll have to see what we get here.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we go. We're gonna go straight into the game. Yeah, pretty exciting to see. I think what Orlok just definitely needs to do is pretty much be the better Freddy in this situation if they do go as Freddy. Because we do know that Bama definitely can and will secure the kills they need once the killer side happens. And I also too, Orlok just needs to play solid. That's what it comes down to. Who plays the more solid?
Indeed. We'll have to see. We see a licensed perk from the survivors so far. Yep. So far, everything's looking good. Yep, they all have a licensed perk. We'll have to see what killer we have. It's another Freddy, from what I can tell. Yep, it's Freddy again, of course. And we'll just have to get confirmation on the perks he's running.
All right, so we do have confirmation that he does have lethal. It looks like also we see corrupt intervention is on the map as well. Definitely, we could probably see that some of the survivors might be having a little bit of trouble because again, corrupt intervention is covering a pretty good distance in this map right now. And a lot of gens that could potentially
They're gonna bother breaking the pallet. I'm surprised. That's a pretty good pallet.
Yeah, Orlok was respecting a lot of pallets the last time. The thing is that there were some loops that he had to destroy, or they had to destroy. You know, this is one of them right here.
Indeed. Let's see. He's looking for survivors. He's following their little trail they leave. Let's see if he can find them and get a hit here.
I'm pretty sure Bama already has survivors working on a couple of gens, including that one right there. It does look like Ruin's also in play there, as the gens did get some sparks.
They're onto the Cheryl. Let's see, he's setting up a snare in this loop. She probably makes the window here. I don't know, she doesn't go for the window. She goes for this window, however.
Yeah, this is a pretty good common L-shaped loop here that can definitely make or break killers here. Sorry about that, a little bit of a tongue twister. I'm not gonna get the lunge there. See,
Should
okay.
Get her here. Yeah, he's gonna get her here.
Oh, Dead Hard, but the Dead Hard was too late. That was some nice patience there from Orlok.
Jen's gonna pop on the side of Vama. He's gonna leave the slug. This is an interesting choice. Nice hit.
You sure if I agreed with the slug? I mean, like, there are gens that are happening, right? And if you don't get them, if you don't have them trade with these hooks, it's gonna cost you, but at least we got a hook there for right now. We do see a teleport of to a generator into the chapel.
Yes.
Okay, forces the pallet to break. Not gonna break it to continue the chase. I'm okay with it as long as, of course, they come back at some point and definitely take care of that pallet. All right, we're gonna go for a full run here into the killer shack. Are we going to see a pallet drop though? Is the question. Yes, we are. God pallet officially down.
Yep, that's big for the Freddy. No, they can't really run Shrek that well anymore.
And of course, Orlock breaking that pallet as well. Again, something that's really important for survivors trying to loop around the shack. Once you take it, it is a bit tricky. And here we go. We're going to go for another chase right now. We're going after the Quentin.
Nice hit there on the Quentin. They got the unhook on the Cheryl, though. And he's going to go for the Quentin here. I believe this pallet's still up. Yes, it is. But there's no pallet here. He'll probably make the window. Oh, he doesn't go for it. He's going to go down here because of that. And basement's right here, too.
Oof. Oof, oof. No. Oh, okay. I was going to say, you'd be a little crazy not to go for the basement there, but...
Especially when it's right there.
Yeah. And also, too, there's already a snare up on top, too. So you're literally just teleporting to another gen right now and just...
For Vama, however.
Mm-hmm. Alright, it does seem that Ruin is still active right now. Gonna go with the pallet early diving. Just doesn't want to get caught by that extra lunge there.
He's gonna break the pallet, respect it.
Alright, we got a survivor on our sights right now. Going in
Got
for
the unhook in the basement.
Yeah, I don't think there's a gen in the killer shack, so unfortunately they cannot actually head over to the killer shack. They have to walk to that instead.
Yeah, they got the heal on the Quentin too already. So nicely done. He's gonna chase this Cheryl again.
Okay.
No pallet here. He should get a hit.
Yep, does get the hit. Okay.
Did she use Dead Hard too there?
She might have used Dead Hard there, actually. A little bit too early, and that's why she got hit on the last. We'll definitely see right now, because this is where she would have gone down, for sure. Okay, tries to bait, and see if she was gonna go for the actual. Okay, nope, she did have.
She did not use Dead Hard before, and he took the hit for her. I mean, she's gonna go into Shack, however, which is not good.
Yeah, nope, it is not good indeed.
She goes down and she can go into the basement.
Yep.
Very nicely done, putting pressure on the gen as well. And he gets that pallet out of the way. Oh, if he's not gonna do it.
I think it's more just setting up a trap. He has time. Like, that's the thing, is that he has some time where he can force a setup, you could say. I'm gonna go after the Steve right now, I think. No, sorry, the Quentin. Apologies, the Quentin. Okay, nice.
Down.
2 downs.
And they went back and got the Cheryl back at the shack, however. They need to bring him toward that gen that he's been trying to protect so he can get there faster. Oh, they got it done. Oh, and as we see on the screen, NOED is activated.
Yep. And it looks like Vam, the biggest thing right now is
Deliverance.
Deliverance indeed, and that's actually by a gate, I think. So a gate's gonna get open. This is gonna come down to if Bama tries to save, to be honest with you. If Bama tries to save, like whether it be the Cheryl or any of these other players right now, this is where it could be a little dangerous. Tries to get a read off of the pallet here. I don't think they're gonna be able to, and
They're just gonna leave.
Yep, very smart decision there. Very smart decision.
it's going to be 16-6. Vama's going to be there at the end of round 1. Very nicely done there by the Vama survivors. They give themselves a 10-point lead going into the break.
Alrighty, so Vama looking pretty good. I mean, honestly, this is what I kind of expected for Bama as far as when it came down to their surviving team. And like we mentioned before, it's really important that you don't risk that last survivor, right? You don't want to go back. You definitely want to make sure you secure a kill. And of course, Bama has a really good Freddy that can secure the kills. And yeah, that's honestly what I expected out of Bama. Orlok, unfortunately, those chases definitely took quite a bit. In addition to that, it wasn't looking too good. It wasn't looking too good as far as trying to secure their own hooks rather. And a lot of looping happened too.
Yes, it did. I mean, we're going into the finals, the final round of the final match. I mean, Valma's got themselves in a very good position to take this home right now. It's not over yet, but they got themselves in a good position right now.
Absolutely. This is also Orlok's chance to shine as a surviving team, right? Because they did do a good job. I think they were down before and they sat as comfy as they could and they came out on top because their surviving team was also pretty strong. So this could be a case of that Orlok surviving team is a stronger team or a stronger side.
Indeed. Well, we should be in for a very good last round of this finals match. Vama has quite a good Freddy. Orlok has some good survivors, so we'll have to see how this goes. Who will come out victorious? Who's going to win this License to Kill event?
Alrighty. We're just waiting, I believe, on, I think, Killer? Maybe? Could be wrong.
But, so, yeah, what survivors do you play when you do play Survivor?
For me, I play, Cheryl, Lori, and, Jill.
Okay.
Yeah.
I respect it. Like I said, when I play Freddy, and I'm trying to learn Nemesis right now, just because my Resident Evil love. I play, like I said, I play Jill and Leon, and then I play Bill, and I play Felix. Felix is like my main. Well, I mean, I don't know, because I got like the outfit from the Trickster event where he looks all like hip and stuff with his glasses and his hat. So I really like that costume for him. But I also do love the Resident Evil characters, so I don't know which one I'll play the most once I have them all leveled up.
Okay.
But yeah, so we'll have to see how we got 3 readied up already. I have no idea if the killer's readied up, but we got 3 survivors. Oh.
Alright, so it looks like we are going to be getting Alessa, Cheryl, Lori, and Nancy. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know. I just, I don't know. I just decided to hum the game music. All right. And we're just waiting for the last 2 ready ups. See? And we're just waiting for Alyssa to ready up here as well. And I think the killer too. We are going to be going back to Father Campbell's chapel.
Yes, we were on Disturbed Ward for the last match. So, I mean, they're kind of similar maps. I mean, the chapel's not as big as the ward for the Disturbed Ward. So, I mean, but I believe there's more pallets on the outskirts for the chapel, but we'll have to see. So yeah, what do you think's gonna happen here? You think Vama just takes this home?
I think so. I have a strong suspicion that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right, so we're going to go ahead and double check if everybody is good to go as far as their perks on the survivor end. We'll find out the killer once we switch over.
Yep, everything looks good there. And like we said, we'll have to see what the killer's running. It's a Freddy again.
Yep, not surprising, like you mentioned, this is Bama's killer. Gonna take out this door here. A door that I definitely agree with. You don't want to get caught in that door. So it does look like we have corrupt intervention right now on the screen. And it looks like it's also, again, pretty spaced out as well. So that's
we have confirmation of a perk from the licensed being ran. So we are good to go. No list of sheep. Oh, very nice. Even the Dead Hard couldn't do anything because of the
slowdown.
The snare. Yeah, the snare. So very nicely done there by Vama's Freddy. Already looking good. That was a very quick down.
Alright.
And there goes the hook.
Yep, and okay,
and
we have
Gen gets done though.
Yep, and it looks like it was some 2 survivors on that Gen. Alessa getting caught in the snare as well.
Nice snare again by the Freddy. Probably had a feeling that someone was going to stay and double back around, possibly for the unhook. Oh, looks like there was someone in Killer Shack doing a gen. Yeah, as you guys notice, like the variations of the map can change, like where the generators spawn. Last time they didn't have a generator in the shack. There was one this time. He gets stunned by the pallet. However, he's going to respect it, break it. He's going to break that pallet too. And they all get healed up.
Now, this is a thing that we saw from Bama. Like we mentioned, the snare traps are really placed well to slow down the survivors. So, yeah, it's a good thing for them.
Yeah, and that's a hit onto the Cheryl. Is that a bug in the interface? Because it looks like the 2 Cheryls look like they have the same little interface to me.
It might be a bug. Remember, they did update that in the recent patch where they're supposed to look like their legacy items instead. But it could be just a bug. But it is Alessa and it is Cheryl.
Yeah, for sure.
Alright, and it looks like we're going down with the Cheryl here. It's going to be going up on the hook. That's one thing that Bama is going to be doing to make sure is solidifying those hooks. As long as they can get them, Orloff's going to have a tough time to try to catch up on this deficit that they have.
Vama's gotten 2 hooks so far, I believe, and it's on the same person, so... or 3 hooks, I don't know, but he's putting them on the same people, so he's going to be closer to securing kills. As he continues to look around where the unhook happened, trying to find them. Oh, yep, there's a pallet right here. He doubled back around, but that's not going to matter. He got out of there. Gonna get hit anyway, though. Let's see if they get any more gens done. So far, they've only gotten 2 gens complete, however.
Yeah, 2 gens for 2 hooks. It's pretty even right now as far as the trade goes.
A pallet gets thrown.
was I'm not too sure how I feel about that, actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thrown that. You definitely could have looped around the shack another time before throwing that.
It almost feels like this Cheryl is this might be her last hook, actually. And this might be a last hook here.
I would just secure the kill right now. You put yourself in a great position if you get the kill here.
Yep. And with that, that's gonna put Vama at, we'll see right now. And then we're gonna probably, since the Nancy's not too far, we're probably gonna go after that Nancy now.
Should be 21, I believe. That'd be a hook and a kill there.
Yep, and it looks like it is gonna be 21 and 12. And we're now gonna go for another chase here. It looks like it's gonna still be the Nancy.
Yep, looks like the Nancy gets hit there. About to see how. Yeah, Nancy's gonna go down here, unfortunately.
I think it was try to bait the Dead Heart, actually.
Yeah, that was a nice little loop there by the Nancy.
Alright, I think trying to refine that chase there. Oh, okay, we found the Melissa. Here we go.
She's gonna get her distance with her little speed boost she gets from being hit. Let's see what she does here with this loop. She's gonna make the window. Very nicely done.
And see if Vama will be able to secure this hook. It's pretty important. The Nancy coming to body block as well. I'm not sure if they're gonna break. No, they're not gonna break chase. Very good decision. They're already chasing the Alessa. It was just a matter.
Yep.
It was just giving some more time, essentially, before that hook. Alrighty, and we're gonna go ahead and put Alessa on the hook. This is gonna be her first hook right now.
Did get another gen while they were going, I'm pretty sure, so. Yeah, looks like they're down to one gen they need left.
Alright, and the hatch is also already spawned as well. So I think the Lori has already had sights on it. It's a pretty simple communication to her team. Hey, this is where the hatch is in case we all go down. You know, do what you can with that information as you will. Alright, gonna cut off the Lori here in the carnival, or in the actual carriage, and see if the actual hit is gonna go.
Yep. She does have a pallet there to work with, that's good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pallet. We're gonna break that pallet. Definitely such a difference between Orlock and Vama.
We're gonna go for the body block again. I don't think they're gonna be able to. Oh no! Nice.
Nice. Wow. These body blocks are being on point. And just a heads up to our viewers at home, the ruin is now gone. So right now, ruin and corrupt intervention are fully gone. So there is nothing stopping these survivors from finishing up their gens.
Indeed. I mean, they still have a win condition on the side of Orlock. We'll have to see what happens here. I think this hook is going to put them in a situation where they can only tie at this point. So we'll have to see.
This is the first hook for Lori.
Yep. So in this situation, even if they get the gen done and all escapes, they only get to 22. So worst case is a tie. Best case, Vama wins. Vama just needs one more hook to win.
Okay. And it's very possible, right? Because they could easily find Alessa and just go on the hook. Which, speaking of which, right there, she's still injured. So let's see what happens. Gonna go for the full commit on the loop. There is no more pallet there, so this is technically, yup, right there. There's that one extra hook.
Should be a victory here for Vama. Yeah, Orlock can no longer catch up. Very well done by Vama today. Very well played. Congratulations to them. We will continue to see this gameplay and see what he can get done here, but he has secured his victory with that hook to put him at 23.
Yeah. And chasing down the Lori, who is still injured as well right now.
And she goes down.
Yep.
They did get the unhook, though. I think at this point he's just going to go for slugs. I think he might know he won.
Yeah. It's a bit of a mind game, too. You know, definitely. At this point, it's kind of for more of like a bragging rights, you could say. Definitely Vama already showing off that they know how to play Freddy at a really top level. And, you know, all of these teams that competed today, competing and performing at such a really high level. We're going to be chasing the Nancy here.
Indeed, he's going to continue to chase this Nancy. I wonder if they're just going to play for Hatch at this point.
Yeah, I think the Lori is the only one that is fully aware of where the hatch is. Again, it's a simple communication that can be sent out, you know, to the team as they are and probably in voice chat communicating with each other. So.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that one. Oh, I'd be kind of mad if I was a survivor about that one.
Yep. I mean, it's frustrating. It is unfortunately part of the game. It is one of those things that they hope to fix as they improve their, you know, their dedicated servers connectivity in regards to those hitboxes. So, and it looks like Alessa is the last person who is not unhooked. And yep, as you can see here, they are fully aware that Orlok cannot really come back from this, and so it's just a matter of sealing the deal.
Yep, and this will give Vama the victory here. So it should be at the end of this 34-14.
And there we go, and GG's to both teams. That was an excellent
32-14, I'm sorry, 32-14, my bad.
This was an excellent performance by these two teams. Again, GG's. You know, congratulations to Vama. I definitely didn't say it was a surprise because I definitely knew that this Freddy was going to come out on top and make sure that all of these survivors were sacrificed to the entity.
That was very well done by Vama. Again, congratulations to them. Shout out to Orlok for getting second place. Overall, what did you think of this tournament?
It was a very fun tournament. It was pretty creative. Definitely would have loved to see a little more variety, but hey, I got to see Pyramid Head, so I'm happy.
I feel the same way about seeing Demogorgons. So, I mean, overall, very great tournament. Again, congratulations to Vama for winning and to Orlok for getting second place. At the end of the day, this was a lot of fun, and we will be sending out tweets and information later about what our next tournament will be, what the rules are, you know, when it's going to be happening. So on behalf of me here and my co-streamer Saki here, we'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to this broadcast of the CGL License to Kill event. And we'd like to thank you guys so much again for tuning in, and we will see you guys at our next tournament. Peace. See you guys later.
Bye, everyone.